Fruit drink concentrate, and Daly's cocktail time cocktail mixes. By your Pirate Land Chrysler Plymouth dealer, who has immediate delivery on America's #1 selling compact car. And by your host for the opening innings, Iron City Beer. When you're really ready to pour on the iron. Well, I'm going to fill in here for Bob Prince for the first few minutes of this ball game. Bob's going to throw out the first ball. There's going to be a novel twist to it. He's going to stand up here in the broadcast booth on the fourth level of Three Rivers Stadium and test his left arm, Bob being a southpaw, test the left arm, see if he can lob the ball over the crowd and onto the field. He hasn't had any warm-ups, and it should be a very interesting effort. We've got a very interesting matchup here for the opening game of the National League Championship Series. The Dodgers, who have had a fantastic year, led by such players as Davey Lopes, who has stolen 60-some bases, Billy Buckner, who's hit .314, Jimmy Wynn has checked in with 32 home runs and driven in over 100 runs. Steve Garvey, the most valuable player in the 1974 All-Star Game, played here in Pittsburgh, ended up the season hitting over 300 and driving in 111 runs. Joe Ferguson, who has divided his time behind the plate and also in right field. Fergie plays right field against the left-handed pitchers, getting Steve Yeager behind the plate. And he alternates with Yeager. He catches when the right-handers throw, when the left-handers throw. Ron Cey, playing at third base, had a fantastic year. You can go on and on about the Dodgers. Bill Russell at shortstop. Steve Yeager, a fantastic year behind the plate. And a marvelous pitching corps led by Don Sutton and Andy Messersmith. Messersmith had a great year all year, won 20 ball games and lost 6 for the Dodgers in Walt Alston. And Don Sutton, after a very slow start and a very slow half season, came on real strong at the end and won 9 ball games in a row to end up at 19-9. And Sutton will be the pitcher today against Jerry Royce of the Pirates. The Pirates have had a tough road to get here this year. As in previous years, the Pirates won by rather comfortable margins. This year, it was a little bit different. This year, they struggled. They lost a lot of heartbreaking games. They won some thrilling ball games. Thrilling ball games, the likes of which I've never seen since I've been here in Pittsburgh. I'm sure the fans will agree. The last series with the Chicago Cubs, it clinched it for the Bucs, being one of the most exciting series ever witnessed here in Pittsburgh. The Pirates lost their first 6 games in a row and 10 out of the first 12 to lead off the season in 1974. And they had a little fight, disagreement with the Cincinnati Reds here on July the 14th of this year, and won 8 ball games in a row after that. It seems to have brought the ball club together. They won 8 ball games in a row. They went on to play fantastic baseball, winning something like 51 out of the next 76 for the last 77 ball games. And they edged out the St. Louis Cardinals in the thrilling battle of the wire. So we'll be back. Bob Prince is up here now. He's testing his left arm. Bob, you better take a few warm-ups, lob a few balls onto the field. But I'm confident that he can do it. The umpires are meeting at home plate right now. The Pirate team captain Wilbur Stargell and Dodger manager Walter Alston. We'll run through the lineups here for the opening game. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the Western Division champions, leading off and playing at second base will be Davey Lopes, who hit .266 during the regular season, with 10 home runs and 35 runs batted in. Batting second will be Billy Buckner. Billy Buckner's playing in left field, ended up the regular season hitting .314. Jimmy Wynn will bat in the third position, playing in center field, 32 home runs, 108 runs batted in. At first base, Steve Garvey, the steady man for the Dodgers during the entire 1974 season. The most valuable player in the All-Star game played here at Three Rivers Stadium. He's done a whale of a job for him. He's hit 21 home runs, and he's driven in 111 runs. Joe Ferguson will be in right field, hitting 5th. Ron Cey will be at third base, batting in the 6th position. Ron Cey with 18 home runs, 97 runs batted in. Billy Russell will be at shortstop. Batting in the 8th position, Bill Yeager will be the catcher. And Don Sutton, it's Steve Yeager, and Don Sutton, with a record of 19-9, winner of his last 9 ball games in a row, will be on the mound for the Dodgers. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, The lineup that got us here and got the Pirates here in the playoffs is just about the same as it is today. Danny Murtaugh planning no surprises. Leading off and playing at second base, Lenny Stennett ended up the season hitting .291 and did a fantastic job at second base, especially in the last half of the season. Batting in the second position and playing at third base, Richie Hebner. Hebner also, as Stennett, hit .291 during the regular campaign with 18 home runs and 68 runs batted in. In the third position, Al Oliver will finish second in the National League batting race to Ralph Garr with a .321 average. Wilbur Stargell will be hitting cleanup, batting number 4, playing in left field. Richie Zisk will be in right field for the Pirates, with a .313 batting average. Manny Sanguillen will be behind the plate for the Pirates. Eddie Kirkpatrick will be at first base. Had a lot of big base hits for the Pirates this year, a lot of game-winning hits. Frank Taveras will be at shortstop, and between the two of them, Taveras and Mendoza, a fantastic job for the Pirates this year. I'm sure much more than anybody could expect. Jerry Royce will be on the mound. The Pirates winningest pitcher for 1974 with a 16-11 record. Royce won a lot of big ball games down the stretch. He, too, off to a shaky start, just as the ball club was this year, but coming on very strong toward the end. And Jerry Royce, the left-hander, will be on the mound for the Bucs. So it's Royce against Sutton, the opening game, game number 1 of the 1974 National League Championship Series. The Pirates having won 4 out of the last 5 years, the Eastern Division Championships. The last time the Dodgers were in postseason play was 1966, when they played in the World Series. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll all rise and join in the singing of our national anthem.
Paul Hughes, writer and arranger of the Ballad of Roberto, will be accompanied by the Lower Girls High School Band.
About ready to go here at Three Rivers Stadium in game number 1, and standing alongside of us up here in the booth is Pirate announcer Bob Trent, the gunner, and he's going to throw out the first pitch for today's ball game. Wish him all the luck in the world, and I'm very anxious to see how his left arm, what kind of condition it's in. They've just introduced Bob, and he's getting ready to let it go, and there it goes. Sailing. Perfect toss down to Manny Sanguillen, but he booted the ball down there, and it bounced out to home plate umpire Nick Colosi. First ball. He's going to toss a second one. Fans are on their feet. There it goes. This one's a much stronger throw. Sanguillen backing up. It bounces at home plate and out toward the mound. Prince has come through. A beautiful left-handed throw. Bob might be in one of these ball games before it's over. The umpires for today's game: at home plate, Nick Colosi; at first base, Paul Pryor; at second base, Lee Wire; third base, Johnny McSherry; Down the left field foul line, Shag Crawford, the veteran of the crew. And down the right field line, Dave Satch Davidson. Jerry Royce on the mound, taking his warm-up tosses. Danny Sanguian will set the Pirates for you defensively. In left field, Wilbur Sargent. In center field, Al Oliver. Right field, Richie Zisk. Third base, Richie Hebner. Shortstop, Frank Tavares. Second base, Rennie Sennett. And at first base, Ed Kirkpatrick. Behind the plate, Manny Sanguian. And on the mound, left-handed Jerry Royce with a 16-11 record, pitching on 3 days rest. Don Sutton will oppose Jerry, and as I told you earlier, Don ended the campaign in 1974 with 9 victories in a row. So he is on a hot streak. At the same time today, out in Oakland, California, the Baltimore Orioles, winner of the American League East, will face the Oakland A's, winners of the American League West. And good luck to both of those ball clubs. Only one of them will win. The Charlie Finley's boys out in Oakland or Earl Weaver's team from Baltimore. And that game will start at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Pittsburgh time. And we're ready to go here in Pittsburgh. Dave Lopes standing in for the Dodgers. Lopes finished with a .266 batting average. And let me tell you, he can run. Dave stole 59 bases and was only caught 18 times during the 1974 season. Here's the first pitch right over the plate for strike one call. And the fans like that as game number 1 is underway. Under 70-degree skies, blue skies, Royce Wines comes in with the 0-1 pitch. Line to shortstop. Frank Tavares picks it off. There's one out. Lopes hit the ball hard, but right at shortstop Frank Tavares. And Royce has retired the first Dodger to face him. One man out. The Dodgers, winners of 102 ball games during the 1974 season. And Cincinnati just about caught them in the last week, but couldn't quite do it. The mark of a real good ball club. They had to win, and they did it. The pressure was on. They came through. Billy Buckner standing in, playing in left field. Bats left. Hit .314 during the season. Royce's first pitch is a call strike. Fastball. Over the heart of the plate. Nick Pelosi behind the plate. Richie Hebner playing in a few steps from the dirt portion of the infield at third base. The outfield in normal straightaway position for Buckner, who possesses a little bit of power. And Royce winds and fires as the second pitch is fouled off on a check swing back behind home plate. 0-2 on Billy Buckner, who hit .314 during the regular season with 7 home runs and 58 runs batted in. And this fella can run, too. He stole 31 bases during the regular season. 30 doubles, 3 triples, and 7 home runs. Royce peering into Manny Sanguian. Buckner waving the war club across the plate. Royce taking his time. Winds and fires the 0-2 pitch. Line into center field. It's going to hang up there. Al Oliver's in and he grabs it. Also another hard hit ball, but it hung up long enough for Al Oliver to come in about 5 steps and make the catch waist high. So there's 2 outs for the Dodgers. Here in the top of the first inning of game number 1. National League Championship Series. Jimmy Wynn, a tower of strength for the Dodgers all season long, with 32 home runs, 108 runs batted in, and hit .271. He had a fantastic year. The Dodgers acquiring Wynn from Houston in the offseason for a trade with Claude Osteen. Royce ready to face him. Fires the first pitch. It's outside for ball 1. First pitch by Jerry that's been outside of the strike zone. It's a gorgeous afternoon compared to what we've had the last few days. Royce winds and fires. High and away for ball 2. 2-0. This is the first Dodgers' first championship series, as we reminded you earlier. The last time the Dodgers were in postseason play was 1966. So it's been a little while for them under manager Walt Olson. Royce ready with a 2-0 pitch. Comes down. It's over for a call strike. 2-1 to Jimmy Wynn. Wynn stole 18 bases, was caught 15 times stealing, so the entire Dodger ball club can run. And here's Royce coming down with a 2-1. Down on the inside corner of the plate, a slider for strike 2. 2-2 the count evens out to Jimmy Wynn. 2 men out here in the top of the first inning, no score. Dodgers and the Pirates from Three Rivers Stadium. Royce, 6'6", standing out there on the mound. Long blonde hair. He winds. He fires 2-2 to Wynn. Up high for ball 3. 3-2, full count on Jimmy Wynn. The outfield is decidedly playing around the left for Wynn to pull the ball. Richie Zisk giving Wynn about 150 feet of the right field line. Infield shaded to the left also. Royce fires 3-2. Fouled off behind the plate up here in the stand. So the count remains at 3-2. The Dodgers, during the 1974 season, to give you an idea of their speed overall, stole 149 bases. That's compared with the Pirates' 55 bases. They were caught 75 times, so that's a pretty good record. And they were led by Lopes and Wynn and Buckner. And here's the 3-2 pitch, up and away for ball 4. So Royce loses Wynn. The first Dodger base runner trots down to first base. And here comes Steve Garvey, the first baseman for the Dodgers. Steve has been a tower of strength all year. He's been, if you can add one man that was the steadiest performer for the Dodgers all year, it would have to be Steve Garvey. Hit .312, drove in 111 runs with 21 homers. Royce ready, looks at Wynn and throws over there. Royce not known to have the greatest move to first base, but I'll say one thing, he's persistent, and he holds the runner on by throwing over there continually. He pauses, and he comes to the plate to Garvey, and Garvey takes up high, ball 1. Snap throw by Manny Sanguin to first, but Wynn is back in plenty of time. Steve Garvey, the 1974 most valuable player of the All-Star game, won for the National League here at Three River Stadium July 23rd. Wynn takes his lead. Royce looks over, comes to the set position, and comes to the plate to Garvey up high for ball 2. So after getting the first 2 hitters rather easily and firing nothing but strikes to Lopes and Buckner, Wynn walks on a 3-2 pitch and now has Royce in the hole 2-0. And you've got to be careful with this guy because he's got a lot of extra base power, as evidenced by the 32 doubles and the 21 home runs. Royce ready with the 2-0 pitch, comes to the plate. Garvey swings a high fly ball to deep shortstop. Frank Taveras back on the edge of the outfield. He gathers it in, and the Dodgers are retired. On a 2-0 pitch, Garvey pops it up. Royce is out of the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 man left, and at the end of 1/2 inning, it's no score. Back at Three Rivers Stadium, bottom of the first inning coming up. Don Sutton out on the mound for the Dodgers, and we'll set the Dodgers defensively for you. They've got Buckner in left field, Jimmy Wynn in center, Joe Ferguson is in right field, Ron Say at third base. They call him the Penguin because of the way he walks and runs. Bill Russell at shortstop, Dave Lopes at second base, Steve Garvey at first. Don Sutton's on the mound, a record of 19-9, and Steve Yeager is behind the plate catching. Sutton, 29-year-old right-hander, had the second best record on the Dodgers staff with a 19-9 mark. He was 6-8 on July the 20th when he lost to the Phillies, and beginning with the victory on July the 25th against Houston, he won 13 of his last 14 starts. And Rennie Spinnett will be coming up to lead off against Don Sutton. Spinnett batting .291, the Pirates second baseman who has had a phenomenal year for the Bucs. The first pitch to the Pirates, swung on and fouled off, away to the right side. So Spinnett, as he does so often, swinging at the first pitch of the ball game. Rennie, you might be able to say, is a free swinger. With .291, 7 home runs, 56 runs batted in, and the crowd is up for this one. You can hear them yelling in the background, stomping their feet, clapping their hands. Sutton comes in with the 0-1 pitch to Rennie. Over the outside part of the plate, a breaking ball for strike 2. Spinnett ended the 1974 season with more hits than any Pirates second baseman in history, 196. Previous high being George Grantham. Sutton back to the plate with the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Yeager drops the ball, picks it up, throws Spinnett out at first base, so there's 1 up and 1 out for the Buccos. Spinnett striking out on a breaking ball that bounced in the dirt in front of Yeager. He picked it up and threw Spinnett out at first base. That'll bring up Richie Hebner, the third baseman, who ended the campaign with a .291 average, 18 home runs, and 68 runs batted in. Left-handed hitter. Sutton winds. Here's the throw. Inside for ball 1. Another breaking ball. Sutton going to his breaking pitches against the first two Pirate hitters. Richie Hebner swinging the bat back and forth. 1-0 the count. Sutton winds. Here's the toss. Ball 2 up high. Another breaking ball. So Sutton, out of the first 5 pitches, hasn't thrown a fastball yet, Bob. But the shadows in right field coming down over the stadium. 2-0 count to Richie Hebner. Sutton's ready. Here's the pitch. Inside. It hit him. The ball hit Hebner on the right arm, and Hebner trots down to first base, the first Pirate base runner. And another breaking ball on a 2-0 pitch. So Sutton has thrown 6 straight breaking pitches to the Pirates and not going to the fastball at all. And Al Oliver, with a .321 batting average, is going to stand in against Mr. Sutton. Ron Say at third base, playing up, not expecting a bunt. Here's the line. Here's the pitch to Oliver, another breaking ball. A hard slider that almost hit him. Al had to dance out of the way of that inside pitch. So it's 7 straight breaking balls thrown by Sutton. Oliver had a phenomenal year for the Bucks, and he's second in the league with a .321 batting average behind Ralph Garr of Atlanta. Sutton pauses, fires, fastball, popped up foul, and it'll get into the stands on the third base side behind the Dodger dugout. Oliver ended the season with 198 hits. Garr had 214. He tied Johnny Bench for second in the league with doubles with 38. Pete Rose led the league with 45 doubles. Richie Hebner's on first. There's one man out. Al Oliver. Here's the pitch. Change-up breaking ball. Down low. He swung and missed. Strike 2. Oliver biting for a low change-up. Count 1-2. One man out. No score. Bottom of the first inning in game number 1. The 1974 National League Championship Series from Three Rivers Stadium. Don Sutton working quickly. Pauses, looks at first. Here's the pitch to Oliver. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Oliver went after a low breaking ball. Swung on and missed. 2 men away. Hebner still at first base. Will Stargell coming to the plate. Willie, you might say, an off year for him, not as far as average is concerned, but as far as home runs and RBIs are concerned, it's 25 home runs, 96 runs batted in. Fell 4 short of having 100 runs batted in for his 4th consecutive year. But Willie hit .301 and had a lot of timely hits. Sutton ready, looks at Hebner, fires to Stargell, up high, fastball. Ball 1. Stargell raised his Major League lifetime batting average to .283 this year and was 4th in the league with 37 doubles. Sutton pauses. He's at the belt. He fires to Stargell, swung on and fouled off behind the plate. 1-1. Hebner, who was hit by a pitch ball down at first base. The infield is in the Stargell shift. The second baseman, Lopes, is back on the outfield side of the diamond. The shortstop, Russell, is directly behind second base, as a matter of fact, just to the right of second base. And Ron Say, the third baseman, is pulled over toward the shortstop spot. Sutton ready. Here's the pitch to Stargell. Breaking ball on the outside part of the plate for strike 2 call. Now that looked somewhat like either an off-speed pitch that tailed away from Stargell or maybe even a screwball. It broke away from Willie. Beautiful afternoon. Shirt sleeve crowd. Sutton looks at Hebner. Comes down with a pitch. Popped up on the infield. Catcher Yeager going out toward third. Say coming in. Yeager calls for the ball and catches it halfway up the line in foul territory for the third out. And Stargell is retired. For the Pirates, no runs, no hits. One man left on at the end of 1 full inning, and Pittsburgh gets 0-0. Back at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh for inning number 2. Pirates-Dodgers, National League 1974 Championship Series. And we're 0-0 going into the second with Don Sutton dueling Jerry Royce. Leading off for the Dodgers will be right fielder Joe Ferguson. Ferguson, a .252 performer during the 74 season. Royce winds and fires. He takes the first pitch in over the inside corner for a strike. 0-1 to Joe Ferguson. Ferguson, 16 home runs and 57 runs batted in during the season for the Dodgers. Royce winds and fires. Off-speed breaking pitch just inside, ball one. Ferguson divided his time between right field and behind the plate. Steve Yeager doing most of the catching when the Dodgers faced the left-handed pitching. Royce down with a 1-1 pitch, swung on, deep drive to left field, is going to go foul. A long drive in the left field that bounces into the seats. Foul by a good margin, but he hit the ball well out in front of it. Count 1-2 on Ferguson. Steve Yeager had a string earlier this season of about 20 straight ball games in which he started behind the plate, and the Dodgers won all of them. Royce winds and fires the 1-2 off-speed pitch, fouled off down at the feet of Ferguson. Dribbles up the first base line. First base coach Junior Gilliam comes over and fields the ball. Gilliam coaching at first, and Tom Lasorda at third base for the Dodgers. A lot of beef on the umpiring crew. Johnny McSherry down at third base. Lee Wire out at second base. It's about 500 and some pounds between the two of them. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball up the middle. It's going to be into center field for a base hit. First hit of the ball game. Joe Ferguson didn't hit the ball hard. Frank Taveras was pulled over a little, playing him to pull the ball. He hit it up the middle for a hit. So Ferguson's on first base with the Dodgers' first hit off Jerry Royce in the first hit of the ball game. And Ron Say, the third baseman, the Penguin, will be the next hitter for the Dodgers. Say checked in with a .262 average during the season, with 18 home runs and 97 runs batted in. And feels his position well. Royce at the belt, looks at Ferguson, comes to Say, breaking ball, up and away, ball one. Ron Say, the Penguin. All he needs is a tuxedo on and play the part well. Zisk off the right field line. Pirates pulling Say to pull and playing him deep. Ferguson taking a short lead off first. Royce comes down with a 1-0 pitch. Fly ball down the right field line. It's going to twist its way into the stands down the right field line. And about the second row, Rennie Stennett and Ed Kirkpatrick giving chase. Out of play, 1-1. The Dodgers and Cincinnati. The Dodgers took a big early lead this year and managed to hold off the hard-charging Reds toward the end of the season. And probably mainly because they had a 12-6 record against Cincinnati in head-to-head competition. They beat Cincinnati if nobody else did, and that's the reason they're here. And Royce is ready with the 1-1 pitch to Say. Here it is. Fly ball down the right field line once more. Stennett might have a play on this one. It's going to be in foul ground. He's over there. He's got it. Stennett racing far down the right field line in foul territory, as he has done so many times this year, and makes an easy play out of what looked like might be a tough chance. One man out as Say pops to Stennett down the right field line in foul territory. Ferguson holding on at first base, and Billy Russell, the shortstop, comes to the plate. Ferguson singled up the middle, down at first base. Bill Russell, one of the strongest arms in the major leagues at shortstop. Stands in. Royce looks at Ferguson, comes down to Russell. Fouled off behind the plate for strike one. Here's a man that can run, but didn't do it too often this season. He's got great speed, stole 14 bases, committed 39 errors at shortstop. But the reason that you commit a lot of errors like that, and the reason Russell did, I'm sure, is he got to a lot of balls and tried to make the play anyway. Here's the pitch to him. Ground ball, second base side, into right field, just past the diving Stennett. Ferguson's going to try to go to third, and he's going to make it. Sliding into third ahead of the throw by Richie Zisk. So the Dodgers mount the first threat of the afternoon in game number one. Ferguson singling up the middle with nobody out. Ron Say popped out. Now Billy Russell slices the ball just past Rennie Stennett at second base, who dove for the ball but couldn't quite reach it. And Ferguson goes over to third base. And you've got a dangerous hitter up here in the person of Steve Yeager. Steve hit a big Grand Slam home run out in Dodger Stadium this year against Cincinnati that won him a big ball game out there down the stretch run. And he's hit 12 home runs this year, platooning with Ferguson behind the plate. Royce ready. Here's the pitch. Swinging him his fastball. Strike one. Dodgers runners on first and third. Ferguson over at third. Russell at first. And Steve Yeager at the plate. So Jerry Royce in his first bit of hot water. Winds, looks at first. Here's the pitch to Yeager. Swung on a miss on a fastball for strike 2. Royce has hit the outside corner of the plate with 2 fastballs, and Yeager's gone after both of them and missed. 41 runs driven in during the regular season. Russell off first. Ferguson off third, and Royce is ready to come down with the 0-2 pitch to Yeager. Here it is. Fastball up and in for ball 1. The Pirates bullpen already in action as Larry Demery, the right-hander, and Juan Pizarro, the left-hander, go at it. Danny Murtaugh not going to waste any time. Each one of these games means so much. In a 3 out of 5 series, can't afford to leave anything to chance. Jerry Royce winds, pauses. Here it comes the 1-2 pitch, fouled off down the third base line. Past coach Tom Lasorda. A hard hit ball, but well outside of the bag at third. Willie Stargell fielding it down the left field line, tosses it to the Dodger bullpen. The Dodgers as a team hit .272 and limited their opponents to an average of .232 this season, so they got great pitching and very, very good hitting with a lot of power, something they lacked in the past. Royce pauses at the belt, comes to Yeager. Change up, just got a piece of it and fouled it off back on the screen behind the plate.
You know what you need here, Fitz? You need a Hoover. We got to get a 6-4-3 popper.
Need one of Bob Prince's Hoover.
Yes, sir. You need a real ripper, buddy. Pull it out of there. You can get this guy on a breaking ball.
Well, let's try to get him out. We've got a 1-2 count on him, and Royce is ready. Looks at first. Here's the pitch. Up and outside with a fastball. Evens the count at 2-2. Bob, it looks like we probably got around 40,000 people here today.
Pretty close to it, I'd say, Fitz, and a beautiful day for baseball. It's a shame to have to draw a whole 162-game season down to 3 out of 5, but it's kind of exciting.
That's the way it is. Seems like every year. Here's the pitch. Up and outside with a breaking ball, and the string is run out on Yeager at 3-2. Royce took something off a breaking ball, and it was very wide and high from the plate. Yeager took it at 3-2. Now we'll have to watch Russell down at first base because he'll probably be moving on the pitch.
Yeah, if Yeager's not much of a strikeout man, I don't think he is, John. Why, you almost got to go with Russell to pop the double play ball out of there.
Russell's got real good speed, but Mr. Yeager doesn't run that well. First and third, Roy steps back off the mound. Yeager's back in the batter's box, ready to go. Russell takes his lead at first. Royce pauses at the belt. Throws over to first base. Russell back. Ferguson coming down the line a bit, and now going back to third base. The Dodgers can hurt you in a lot of ways. They can run, they can field, they've got great pitching, and they've got a lot of power. And a very capable manager in Walter Alston. Royce is ready. Here's the pitch. Russell not going a swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Bob, talking about a strikeout, got one, and a big one at that. 2 men away, and then still on first and third base for the Dodgers, and pitcher Don Sutton coming up, and Bob will tell you he's no soft touch.
No, he's not, but there's where Alston knows a little more than you and I. That's why he didn't have Russell going, or that'd have been a double play.
That's why he's been around here for about 20 years, I guess,
yeah.
Bob.
I asked him, what are you going to do this year down in the field, John? He said, well, I'll go back to Dartown. When it gets real cold, I'll go out and shoot skeet and pool, and then I'll come down and see what the lads look like along about March.
He's done a fantastic job of piloting the Dodgers for the last 19, 20 years. Royce ready to Sutton. Here's the pitch. Up high with a fastball, ball 1. Don Sutton, as we said, is no slouch with the bat. He's got 18 hits this year for a 184 average. He's driven in 7 runs. And he's always up there swinging. He's got a good eye at the plate. Royce ready at the belt. Looks at first. Here's the pitch. Sutton takes up high, ball 2. So Royce is quickly behind to Sutton. He's thrown 2 fastballs. They've been out of the strike zone, up high, and hit 2-0. We're in the second inning, top of the second inning. We've got no score, but the Dodgers are threatening. Don Sutton, right-handed hitter. Royce at the belt. Looks at first. Comes down to the pitch. Down low, ball 3. Now, Mr. Royce is going to be in a little trouble here if he walks Mr. Sutton. He's got men on first and third right now. Davy Lopes, the second baseman, a pretty fair hitter, is on deck. Royce is ready to come down with a 3-0 pitch, and does. It's up high for ball 4. Royce, after striking out Yeager on a 3-2 pitch, comes down with 4 straight wild ones to pitcher Don Sutton, and the Dodgers have the bases loaded. And Davy Lopes is coming up. And he lined out to shortstop in his first time at the plate the first inning.
I hope this is a situation, but I've seen, I'm sure you have, John, lots of times when Royce, when he gets behind a guy, will just pitch carefully to put him on if he has to get to the next guy because he feels he'd rather go to Lopes, maybe say the bases loaded, 2 out, than to come down the pike 3-0 to Sutton. I mean, I don't know whether that's what he did, but I get the feeling sometimes he pitches that way.
Could be, Bob. Lopes swings and fouls the first pitch off a fastball behind the plate up on the screen. Strike 1.
I wouldn't want to have to pitch that way every day, though, would you?
No, it might take a little out of you to think that way every day, Bob. No score, top of the second inning. First game of the 74 Championship Series, Dodgers and the Pirates, Three River Stadium. Beautiful afternoon. 0-1 count for Dave Lopes. Bases loaded with Dodgers. Royce ready. Here's the 0-1 pitch up high, ball 1. Count even, 1-1. Fans on the edge of their seats a little now. Murmuring going on through the crowd. You see 3 Dodgers out there on the base path. Lopes hit .333 against the Pirates this year, and he hit a home run late in the year. Here's the pitch. Up high and outside for ball 2. Gets a little reaction from the crowd here.
What bothers you here, you put 4 men, he faced 4 in the first. He's faced so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 6 here. Even if we get out of the inning, we're giving too many guys a chance to get back up there, John.
Too many guys, and he's thrown too many pitches already here in the first 2 innings. Second inning not over yet. He's ready with a 2-1 pitch to Lopes. Comes down with it up high with a fastball. Ball 3. So Royce experiencing control problems here in the second inning. Ferguson singled up the middle to open up the inning. After Say fouled out, Russell singled to right field, sending Ferguson to third base. Royce went 3-2 on Yeager. He fouled the pitch off, then he struck him out. He walked Sutton on 4 straight wide ones to load the bases, and now he's behind 3-1 to Davy Lopes. Lopes received 66 walks during the regular season. He struck out 71 times, and he slammed 10 home runs. Now his main threat is to get on base as the leadoff man and steal some bases, which he did so well. After Sanguillen's brief visit to the mound, Royce is ready. He's 3-1 to Lopes. He comes down with a 3-1 pitch, swung on and fouled off at his feet for strike 2. So now we've got that moment of truth once more, Bob. 3-2, 2 and out, bases loaded, and be a little tight here.
Yeah, let's see whether he's got to come from the stretch or wind up. I'd be inclined to want to hold these guys as close to that bag as I could.
I have to think so. Russell can really run at second base. Sutton's got good speed at first base. Got to keep him close, and he's going to come to the stretch position. He's not going to go into his full windup. He's ready. Runners will be off. Here's the pitch to Lopes. Up high, ball 4. The Dodgers have drawn first blood. Davy Lopes walks with the bases loaded, forcing across Mr. Ferguson from third base. The Dodgers lead 1-0 in the top of the second inning. So Jerry Royce, throwing an awful lot of pitches behind on an awful lot of hitters so far in the first 2 innings, has forced the first run across the plate. Lopes gets credit for a run batted in. Ferguson scores from third. The bases remain loaded, and Bill Buckner's up there. And Bob, he's tough on right and left-handers. Royce winds and fires to him. Swung on and grounded foul.
You get the feeling he's about as hard-nosed a ball player as you're going to see anywhere. You remember the ball game when Aaron set the record? He went climbing up over that left field wall in Atlanta and came awfully close to catching it. He fights you for everything.
I remember a couple of catches that he attempted against us out in Los Angeles. He slammed into the bullpen wall in left field. Royce is ready, 0-1 to Buckner. Here it is, ground ball, second base. Big hop. Bennett boots the ball, sticks it up, and fires to first. He got him. Looked like it was going to take a big hop. At the last moment, Bennett short-hopped it, picked it up, made a fine recovery, and threw him out. So the bases remain loaded, and the Dodgers get 1 run on 2 hits, no Pirate errors, and 3 men left on base. Score 1-0 Dodgers in the bottom of the second.
John Fitzpatrick, I was talking to Don Sutton down in the field while you were busy straightening out the affairs for Mr. Galbraith and all the owners coming in. He said, what are you going to do this year after baseball? You're going to be a disc jockey? What? He said, no, I'm going back to Whittier College, and I'm going to get my degree in economics, or a master's degree in that. And he said, I've already had 2 papers subpoenaed. I said, oh, you know, he's really funny at that, but he's apparently been a very good disc jockey in Los Angeles, and a rather sharp individual all the way around.
Certainly is. A real fine young gentleman also, Bob. And he's ready to go here in the bottom half of the second inning as the Pirates come up and the Dodgers lead 1-0. The Dodgers 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. The Pirates yet to have their first hit, and Richie Ziff is going to try to do something about that right now. Richie tailed off a little toward the end of the season, but still wound up with a .313 batting average. Sutton winds and fires. It's ball 1. Fastball inside. Richie had a 100 RBI season, his first in the major leagues this year, and hit 17 home runs. Outfield around to the left on Ziff. Here's the windup by Sutton, and the pitch swung on. A big cut, he missed it. Strike 1. 1-1. Bob, you did a fine job of throwing out the first pitches.
Well, thank you. I'm very disappointed at saying he couldn't catch him. I flared him right down there to his feet.
Too much stuff for him. Here's the wind by Sutton. The pitch, a breaking ball, stays inside. 2-1. Taking lessons from Gaylord Perry or something, I think you had a little more on that ball than you want to admit. Don Sutton on the mound, 19-9, winner of his 13 of his last 14 ball games during the regular season for the Dodgers. 2-1 to Zisk. Here comes Sutton. Swung on and popped up on the infield on the right-hand side. First baseman Garvey backs up 3-4 steps. He's in fair territory and makes the catch for out number 1.
No, I think I ought to say right here is the Dodgers lead 1-0. A lot of people are calling to find out who you are. They like your style. I'll say, you ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to John Fitzpatrick, who used to be the bat boy for the Pirates. His father used to be a third base coach for the Pirates. He, John Fitzpatrick, is our traveling secretary. And he's nice enough to step in and help us out because I've had a pretty bad cold for the last several days and haven't gotten over the rigors of throwing out the first ball yet. But this is John Fitzpatrick, our traveling secretary.
Well, we're ready to face Manny Sanguillen, who grounds the first pitch down to stay at third base. He fires over to first, and Manny's out. Sutton threw Sanguillen on the first pitch, a change of speed pitch, and Sanguillen was way out in front of it, grounded weakly to third base, and Say fired him out at first. Bob, you're sure those weren't calls of complaint?
No calls of complaint, John. None at all.
This is an enjoyable task coming up and helping you out here today. Eddie Kirkpatrick stepping in. 2 outs for the Pirates in the last of the second inning. Don Sutton sailing along. Pirates haven't had a hit yet. Here's the first pitch to Edgar Kirkpatrick inside ball 1. Eddie hit .247 during the regular season with 6 home runs and 38 runs batted in, and that can be deceiving because he got quite a few game-winning hits and big hits for the Pirates. Down the stretch run. Sutton's ready in the 1-0. Fires. Low and inside for ball 2. 6 umpires working this game here today, and as Bob said earlier, the shadows are getting deeper and deeper in right field and make it a little tough to play out there for the right fielder. Sutton on the 2-0 pitch to Kirkpatrick, up high with a fastball for ball 3. Pirates have had one base runner, Richie Hebner, who got aboard first base, got hit by a pitch ball on the right arm by Sutton. Outside of that, they haven't done much of anything so far. Bennett struck out, Oliver struck out. 2 outs here in the second. The 3-0 pitch is down the middle for call strike 1. 3-1 to Kirkpatrick.
This little far cry from Kansas City for Spanky Kirkpatrick, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's done a whale of a job here. When he first came here, they said, who's Ed Kirkpatrick? Well, I think they know by now. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Sutton. Fastball right down the middle for strike 2. 3-2 on Kirkpatrick. Spanky is everybody calls him around Three River Stadium. Bob, I don't know if he got that name from the R-Gang comedies or where he picked it up.
I don't know, but somewhere in his childhood.
Sutton ready, 3-2 to Kirkpatrick. Here it is. Swung on and fouled off behind the plate, up on the screen. Count remains at 3-2.
He's, he and his wife, I guess, well, your wife's in the real estate business as a side venture, so got the home for him out in South Hill some area, and I think they're going to remain here now, and he wants to work in the off-season, John. Which, and he'd be a good guy to represent somebody because he has the smarts and he's a good, a well-met individual.
Eddie's looking for a job here in the public relations capacity in some sort. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Inside, ball 4. Sutton walks his first man. In the second inning, Kirkpatrick gets aboard. And that'll bring up Frank Tavares. So Sutton went 3-2 to Kirkpatrick and then walked him. With 2 men out in the bottom of the second inning, the Dodgers leading 1-0. Bob Skinner's down at third base coaching for the Pirates, and Jose Pagan handles the chores at first base.
Ferguson comes in any more in right field, he can shake hands with his first baseman, Danny.
I told a lot of people here to notice how Joe Ferguson played Frank Tavares, and he's really in right field shallow. Tavares takes a healthy cut and fouls off the first pitch. 0-1 to Frank, hit .246 during the regular season. Eddie Kirkpatrick on first base, he walked. 2 men down, Dodgers lead 1-0. Sutton working on a new baseball out on the mound. He works quickly. He's ready to go again. Comes down with a 0-1 pitch. He pops it up foul behind the plate on the screen. So Tavares is in the hole quickly, 0-2. There's no way, Bob, that Tavares could hit any ball in the air to right field shallow and have it fall in for a hit with Ferguson where
I
he is.
wouldn't know how. You've got to hit a little liner in between first and second, and that might be tough.
It's got to be a low liner. Sutton's ready to Tavares once more. 0-2 pitch. He comes down with it. Breaking ball in the dirt. Ball 1. Bob, you noticed during the season that some right fielders on the other ball clubs played Tavares quite deep.
Mm-hmm.
And Tavares just popped those line drives in there regularly. Sutton throws over to first base and almost picks Steve Garvey off the bag. Wasn't expecting the throw. He's playing behind Kirkpatrick at first. Not expecting Spanky to be running. Here's the pitch to Tavares, who grounds it down to third base. Sage bobbles the ball, picks it up. Russell throws to first. He's safe. Tavares hit the ball hard down to third base. It bounced off Say. Russell was backing him up, picked the ball up, and fired to first, and just did miss Frank Tavares, who's aboard. And they call it an error on Ron Say. Russell was playing so close to Say on that play that it looked like one and the same individual. He was on his heels.
Yeah, one thing, that Russell gunned that ball over there. Only Tavares, so somebody like him was going to beat that play out as you described it, John.
Absolutely, Bob. Nobody else on our ball club, with the exception of maybe Gene Vines or Dave Parker, would have beaten it. But Sutton's got 2 men on now. Jerry Royce is the hitter, hitting from the left side and lines the ball in deep center field. It might go over Wynn's head. He backs up. He one-hands the ball in center field. Jerry Royce hit the ball hard and deep to center field in the first pitch, but Wynn raced back to make a one-handed catch. So for the Pirates, an exciting inning. No runs, no hits, 2 men left on base, 1 Dodger error. At the end of 2, it's 1-0 Dodgers. Ready to go in inning number 3 at Pirates Three River Stadium. 1-0 Dodgers. Jerry Royce on the hill against Don Sutton. The Dodgers have gone first blood here in the second inning. Put together a couple of hits, a couple of walks. And Jerry Royce walked a run in.
Unit rather significant too, Johnny Fitzpatrick, because Royce is the only guy to hit the ball out of the infield, and he almost drove it over the head of a shallow center fielder, Jim Wynn. And that would have been money in the bank if he gets that over his coconut.
I'll tell you, the crowd could see 2 runs on that play, and I could too, Bob, but Jimmy Wynn, with his good speed, raced back into deep center field and hauled it down one-handed. He made a good play on the ball. If he doesn't, the Bucs have 2 runs, and Royce is going to go for 3 bases. So often is the case, Jimmy Wynn is the first hitter here in the third inning for the Dodgers, the man that made the good play to end the second inning. Jimmy Wynn set a Los Angeles record for home runs in a season with 32. Here's the windup by Royce in the pitch. Breaking ball down and inside for ball 1. What a trade that was for the Dodgers, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Steen, since coming over to Houston, has gone on to St. Louis. Jimmy Wynn has had a great year for the Dodgers. He's up high for ball 2.
The way I heard it, they were almost ready to release Osteen outright and ended up getting Wynn for him. And that had to be something.
Incredible. Royce down with a 2-0 pitch. Down the middle, swung on and missed. Strike one. Wynn swung so hard at that one, his helmet comes flying off. Manny Sandian retrieves it and gives it back to him.
When I broke into baseball, that swing there would draw the next pitch right around your head, and you'd go flat on your back no matter what the ball and strike count was. That's when I broke in.
Stick the next one right out of your ear.
You better believe
You're
it.
absolutely right. It's changed a little, Bob.
Yeah.
2-1 pitch to Wynn, swung and fouled off behind the plate on the screen. 2-2.
Which gives them the advantage of digging in.
Absolutely. And dig in they do. You see more of them digging in. They used to call Gil Hodges the grave digger.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys would put him to shame, I think. 2-2 count to Jimmy Wynn, third inning. Jerry Royce experiencing control problems. Got behind on Wynn, but he's even now. Here's the pitch. Ground ball shortstop. One out to Taveras. Comes up with it. Fires him out at first base. Wynn getting down that line quickly. He's got good speed, but Taveras with a fine arm throws him out for the first out.
I just thinking in the American League where you were for a while with Oakland, but even before that, Vic Raschi and Allie Reynolds and Sal Magley here and Ewell Blackwell in the National League, Jimmy Wynn might not be around to take that third swing after the second one.
With the Dodgers here, you might mention Don Drysdale.
Oh, yes. Indeed.
It would have been tough to swing like that against Drysdale anyway. Though.
Yeah, especially when you're standing on your head, John.
Didn't get too many good cuts. Steve Garvey, Dodger first baseman and cleanup hitter standing in here. Popped up to the shortstop Taveras to end the first inning. He's 0 for 1. Ball one, no strikes. Here's the pitch, down low, ball two. Bob, Jerry's throwing an awful lot of pitches and getting behind an awful lot of hitters.
Yeah, he's throwing away more than he normally should. Keeps this up and goes 9, he'll be up about 180 pitches. That's too many.
An incredible pitcher if he can do that. Line in the left field, the 2-0 pitch. For they said down the line, Stargell racing over to play it. Garvey's going to go for two. Stargell throws, not going to get him. He's going to slide in with a double. But Jerry Royce got behind Steve Garvey, 2-0, and the line the 2-0 pitch solidly down the left field line. Stargell making a good play to cut it off, but Garvey, who can run, as can all of the Dodgers, legs it into second base with a double. Joe Ferguson coming up to face Jerry Royce. So Jerry is getting behind on too many hitters here early in the ball game, and he's quite a man if he can pitch his way out of all these jams now. He's ready to go to Ferguson. He swings on the first pitch, grounds it down to third base. Hebner over, fires. He's got him. Hebner racing over in front of Taveras at the shortstop position. Made a great play and fired Ferguson out at first base. Ranging far to his left. 2 men out. And Garvey remains on second base. Got Ron Say, the Penguin, coming up here for his second at bat. Fouled out for Lenny Stinnett the first time up down the right field line. Dodgers lead 1-0, and with 3 hits, the Pirates have none. Ron Say hit .302 against the Pirates this year. Had 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in. Tied a Dodger record, or set a Dodger record, with 8 runs batted in one game against the San Diego Padres earlier this year, down in San Diego, I believe. Also had a great RBI game in Chicago before a horde of relatives in Wrigley Field one day this year. Royce is ready. Garvey's off second. Stays up there. The first pitch is a breaking ball. Up high for ball one. Bob will put a tuxedo on this guy, and that'll be it.
Call him the Penguin, huh? Then groom him with George Theodore of the Mets. You'd have the Penguin in the start.
Royce is ready to go to Say. Here's the pitch. Strike one called over the outside quarter of the plate. It's like a fastball, 1-1. Dodgers lead 1-0. Top of the third inning. Game number 1 of the 1974 Championship Series. For the pennant of the National League. The right to go on and meet the American League champion in the World Series. Royce is ready to go to Say. 1-1 pitch. Here it is. Inside corner of the plate. Strike 2. Call. Ron Say didn't like the call. He has a brief conversation with plate umpire Nick Pelosi. Doesn't last long. They never do. I don't think he's going to change his decision at this point. So it's 1-2. Royce is pitching a few strikes.
If he has that pitch, come back with it.
Come back with it again. 1-2 to Say. Royce is ready. Looks second base. Garvey comes down to Say. Outside, but just outside. Ball 2. Didn't miss by much, Bob.
No, it didn't, and we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Pirate Baseball Network.
All the good sports are on Pirate TV Pittsburgh.
2-2 count. Ron Say, the batter, with Steve Garvey out on second base. Time is called by Say, steps out of the batter's box. Garvey goes back to second. Pirates play Say, the full hitter, and fairly deep. He's got good power. Hit 18 home runs this year. Royce is ready, comes to the belt. Here it comes to Say. Swung on and fouled off over the Pirate dugout and into the crowd. A vicious line drive. 2-2 the count remains on Say. Bob, every one of these guys can run they've got on this ball club.
Yes, and that's a great advantage, not only defensively, but offensively. When they're moving, they make you do things you don't want to do, maybe throw the ball a base ahead or too quickly or something. Speed is a great factor.
Yes, sir. 2-2 pitch to Say. Lined weakly to second base. Kirkpatrick races over. Stennett's going to take it himself and wins the foot race for Say to first base. A weak little line drive, but Kirkpatrick cut in front of Stennett. Stennett picks the ball up and out-raced Say to the bag. A great play by Rennie Stennett. Retiring the Dodgers in the third inning. No runs, one hit, no Pirate errors, and one man left. Into the bottom of the third, 1-0 Dodgers. Ready to go here in the bottom of the third inning for the Pirates. The Dodgers leading 1-0. Game number 1 of the championship series. And Rennie Stennett is taking a little extra time to come out of that Pirate dugout. He was shaken up on the play at first base, which was a fantastic play. Ron Say hit a weak little line drive in the general direction of Rennie. Ed Kirkpatrick came over in front of him, but he called him off. Stennett called Kirkpatrick off, made the play himself, and then outraced Say to the bag, winning, as Bob would say, by a gnat's eyelash. So he's being patched up, no doubt, down in the Pirates dugout by trainer Tony Barteron.
I thought he was a little worried about how he had to get to that bag, and of course Say was sliding. I couldn't tell, John, whether he got nicked by Say's slide or whether Rennie might have, as he rolled over the bag, as you described, might have twisted his ankle a little bit.
Could have been either way, Bob. He could very well have gotten spiked by Say. Say was coming in there like a freight train, and they both arrived practically at the same time, Rennie just nipping him.
Of that speed we're talking about again, where in this case Kirkpatrick had committed himself, and I have to say sort of foolishly. He has no play on the ball. Once it's by him, he's going to get right back to first, and then Stennett can just give it to him real easy and the side's out.
That's right. Royce, probably not figuring that Kirkpatrick was going to leave the bag, didn't go over to cover first base. Nobody was there, so Rennie had to do it himself. And here he comes leading off the third inning for the Pirates, and he gets a fine round of applause.
Well, just like you said, Jimmy Wynn made a great play on Royce. It's amazing how the guy that ends the inning with a great play ends up leading off at the plate. It's just remarkable how that happens.
More often than not.
Yep.
And the Pirates have to get something going here against Don Sutton. It's early in the ball game, the third inning, but the only man to hit the ball hard so far has been pitcher Jerry Royce. Stennett struck out the first time up on 3 straight pitches from Don Sutton, and he's ready to go after him once more. Sutton winds and fires. Stennett grounds it weakly down the third base line. Say charges, picks it up, fires to first, and he's got him by a step. Rennie, I'll say one thing for him. Runs gives you 100% all the time, 150% all the time. He's the Pirates' version of Pete Rose of Cincinnati, Charlie Hustle. Say made a fine play and came up firing and got Stennett by a step at first base for the first out of the Pirates' third inning, in which Hebner stands in. Was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Sutton winds and fires to Hebner, who grounds it to second base on one hop. Lopes on the outfield side of the diamond picks it up and throws Hebner out at first base for out number 2. So the Pirates 2 up, 2 down on 2 straight pitches here in the third inning.
I'd say we'll put a fork in Mr. Sutton about the 6th or 7th inning.
Well, Don Sutton was quoted as saying something like that in the paper either yesterday or today, that you can hold the Pirates easily for 4, 5, 6 innings, and then all of a sudden they explode on you. And here's Al Oliver with 2 men out, swings and fouls off the first pitch behind the plate.
We got to work on our game of getting the ball out of the infield first, not pitch. That's very important.
Work on the fundamentals.
Yeah.
You're a great believer in fundamentals. Get the ball up in the air and out of the infield. 0-1 to Al Oliver. Sutton's ready. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, center field, medium center field. Jimmy Wynn's going to take it without any problem. He camps under it. He takes it. The Pirates are out 1-2-3. A very easy inning for Sutton in the third inning. And the score remains at the end of 3. Dodgers 1, Pirates nothing.
Pirate Baseball has been brought to you by Iron City Beer. As we go to the fourth inning, your host is your Pirate Land Chrysler Plymouth dealer, who has immediate delivery on America's #1 selling compact. The Dodgers out in front 1-0 have threatened against Royce in the second and third innings, and the only run they've gotten has been a bases-loaded walk. Bill Russell will lead it off in the fourth inning. He singled in the second. That sent Ferguson over to third base. Pitch, you working or you leaving? You're not working. Russell takes a pitch up high for a ball. Burrell High School Buccaneer Band was on before the ball game. Put on a good pregame show. Line drive, left field. Stargell started in, but drifts back a step or two on the warning track. Right near it, he's got it. Really almost misplayed that ball. Very clear sky, but some clouds starting to filter in here. And outfielders look for those protective little devils up there to help them. The sun field later on will move around more into left field, but it's no factor right now. Yeager struck out in the second inning. Looked like a big strikeout with Sutton coming up, but Royce then committed the unpardonable sin of walking. Line drive right to Hebner at his knee tops, at his knees. Rather, he got it. Line drive out. I was going to say shoe tops, but it was right at his knees, and Hebner almost dropped the ball at the fingertips off the glove. 2 down quickly in the Dodgers' fourth inning. They lead 1-0, and the batter will be Don Sutton. Gary, of course, figured with the strikeout of Yeager that with the pitcher coming up, he was out of it, but he didn't get out of it. Fastball in there, taking strike 1. He walked Sutton and walked Lopes to force in the run. The 0-1 delivery, grounded weakly off the first base side. It's foul. Hit the soft dirt in the sliding pit and took a funny bounce on Kirkpatrick. Sutton has driven in 7 runs this year. Has not been an automatic out man. Fastball way up high, almost the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Interesting to hear people last night talking about where they heard that final game of the season. The Pirates won it in such miraculous fashion. Swing and a miss, and Sutton goes down swinging. That's the second strikeout for Jerry. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left for the first time. The Dodgers go out in order. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. We mentioned it before about people talking where they heard the Pirates capture the divisional title in that weird play against the Cubs. The guy was driving back on the turnpike, picking it up. He said he almost went off the side of the road when Pirates won that thing, and particularly on the pass ball by Swisher. George Brotherton and his wife, Catherine, picking up the ball game. He said earlier in the week they were on a cruise ship down in the Atlantic Ocean, and a guy was up in the bridge getting the radiograms or something and running down and telling them what they did. They had a Pirates pep rally on board the ship, and most of the people were from New York. Stargell leads off the fourth inning against Don Sutton. The Dodgers lead 1-0. The pitch up high, ball 1. Tickets for tomorrow's game are available here at the ballpark and at G.C. Murphy's if you're downtown. The game will not be telecast tomorrow. Swing and a miss by Stargell. 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be telecast only if there is a sellout. And there is no sellout here this afternoon. But NBC telecasting today. They will not telecast tomorrow. Sutton's 1-1 pitch. Changeup, and he swings and misses strike 2. Willie's been having his problems since the injury. A week ago Saturday, sliding into second base on a wild pitch against the New York Mets. He injured his knee. He just hasn't been the same since. The 1-2 pitch to Will, and he pops him up in the infield. Anybody who wants it can have it. Who wants it? Shortstop Bill Russell says he'll take it, and he does. One down in the Pirates' fourth inning. The Dodgers lead 1-0, and Zisk, who popped up to first baseman, Steve Garvey in the second inning, is the batter. Sutton, the type of pitcher with his fastball, is very alive. Early in the ball game, can be very, very effective with that. When he starts losing a little in late innings, why he can be touched up. But that's why they have Mike Marshall. Richie wound up the season hitting at .313. The pitch to Rich is the breaking ball. In there, strike 1. Good to see Bill Verdon at the ball game today. And his wife, Shirley. Sutton's 0-1 delivery. Up high. Just started to offer, but checked off. 1 ball, 1 strike. One nothing lead for the Dodgers in the Pirates' fourth inning. We have not had a hit. The 1-1 pitch. Up high. Ball 2. Fans starting to get some rhythmic applause going. We've had 2 base runners. Hebner hit by a pitch, make it 3. Hit by a pitch in the first, a walk and an error in the second. And a great grab by Wynn and a ball hit by Royce. It turned out to be a big one. Curve, swung on and missed by Zisk in the count of 2-2. Zisk confessing that he just got out of kilter the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. He still really doesn't have that good stroke back. The last good series he had was against the Phillies here over Labor Day. He looks at strike 3, right down the chute. Now Sutton picks up his 3rd strikeout. And it'll bring up Manny Sanguillen. Now Sutton dominating this ball game. Has not given up a hit. Has walked 1. Sanguillen, first ball hitting in the second inning. Hit an off-speed pitch weakly to third baseman Ron Say. Sanguillen wound up hitting at .287 this year. Pitch away to him, ball 1. 7 home runs, he drove in 68. The windup on the 1-0 pitch by Sutton. Line drive, right field, base hit, and that's the first one. As Sanguillen going to the opposite field, which is his best stroke, comes up with the first hit of the ball game for the Pirates. And that ends all that no-hit nonsense that somebody may have been thinking about. Manny this year played in 151 games. Checking it with previous years. And that's the most he has played in his major league career. And he missed most of those games the first week of the season. Mike Ryan had to do the catching. 2 down, Kirkpatrick stepping in. Pops one up in the infield, just missed it. Lopes is going to make the play on it, and that'll retire Kirkpatrick. Spanky looked like he had his pitch that time, but just popped it up. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. And we completed 4, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Well, the Dodgers are at the top of the lineup again. Lopes up for his 3rd time. Will be followed by Buckner and then Jimmy Wynn. Well, we've got an opportunity here. Let's pause 20 seconds for our local station.
The Pirates have done it. They're in the playoffs with the Dodgers. And now we've got to show the Bucs we're still with them all the way to the World Series. That's the Bucks. After all, KDKA thinks Pirate baseball is a serious business.
1-0 lead for the Dodgers. They scored in the first inning, or in the second inning, rather, in case you're just joining us. On a bases-loaded walk to Davy Lopes, forcing in Joe Ferguson. That's been the only run of the ballgame. Lopes lined to shortstop to open the ball game and walked in the second. Sankian getting some instructions from the Pirates dugout. Time call, but now back in there. Hebner up close at third. The infield shortens on Lopes at great speed. Curve is in at the knees, taking strike one. Lopes didn't like the call by home plate umpire Nick Colosi. Key to the Dodgers, much like the Cardinals, is this guy. If he gets on base, things start to happen. With Lou Brock, the same thing. The 0-1 pitch to Lopes in the dirt, and the count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Crowd today, I would guess somewhere around 35,000, maybe 40 at the most. Tickets for tomorrow's game still available. General admission tickets for just $3. The 1-1 pitch, way outside, ball 2. Gary's pitched well all season long, and I guess the biggest game he had, the toughest one, was that 13-inning loss to the Cardinals here. Foul, back out of play, count of 2-2. He came back and pitched another strong game in New York, beating John Matlock 2-1. We had to have a good pitch ball game, a complete game outing for him. Last time against the Cubs was pitching well until the rains came, and then he had to leave, and the Cubs had taken the lead. The Bucks came back to win it on Bobby Robertson's home run. Royce wound up the season, 16 wins, 11 defeats. The 2-2 pitch. Fly ball into shallow center field, drifting back Stennett, calling for it. The second baseman makes the play, 1 down. Jerry hitting Lopes right on the fist with that pitch. 1-0 lead for the Dodgers. Bill Buckner, the batter, lined to center field, and Royce got a very big out on him in the second inning. With the bases loaded, he bounced to Stennett. He bobbled the ball momentarily and just recovered in time to get Buckner at first base. Here's the pitch by Royce to Buckner. Foul behind home plate, out of play. Strike 1. Buckner, a rather intense young man. And I guess it's putting it mildly. He's somewhat out of the Pete Rose mold. Earlier in the year, they had been platooning him in left field, and they found out he had to play every day if they're going to win. He wound up hitting .314, the best hitter on the club. The 0-1 pitch. Foul, back out of play again, the count of 0-2. Pentagram reminding the fans here that Buckner had the longest hitting streak of the season, 17. And he made a series of spectacular catches throughout the year. The 0-2 pitch, fly ball, left field. Stargell will make the play on it, and it'll retire Buckner, 2 down. The Dodgers lead 1-0 in a tight ball game here into the 5th inning. Jimmy Wynn walked in the first inning, bounced out to the shortstop Tavares in the 3rd. But the long ball bat, very prominent with this guy this season. 32 home runs, 108 RBIs. And the big trade in the offseason. Claude Osteen for Jimmy Wynn. And it was a windfall for the Dodgers. Swings and misses. His batting helmet pops off. Strike 1. That wasn't intended as a punt. It wasn't either. Why don't you sit up front, Shader, and watch the game? The 0-1 pitch. Up high. Fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. We have been moved from our third deck press radio booth to up here in the 4th, and the angles are a bit different. The 1-1 pitch. Curve down low. 2 balls and a strike. more difficult trying to judge fly balls and exactly where they're hit and how hard they're hit. The overflow of the press taking over the Pirate broadcasting booth. 2-1 pitch. He is just up high, ball 3. Royce thought he had a strike there. Didn't like that call by Colosi. On deck batter, Steve Garvey. Nobody on. The Dodgers fifth. They lead 1-0. The 3-1 pitch. Foul. Back out of play. Now a full count of 3-2. Royce has had a number of full counts here this afternoon. He's walked 3, and one of them forced in the only run of the game in the second inning. Lifetime against the Dodgers. Jerry, 9 wins and 8 defeats this season. He won 2 and lost 1. Here's a payoff pitch to Wynn. He lost him, ball 4. His 4th walk. Now, Royce has had only 1 inning where he's retired on 1, 2, 3, and that was in the 4th. He has thrown a lot of pitches. Garvey doubled on a 2-0 pitch in the 3rd inning down the left field line. Royce then got Ferguson and Sales to retire the Dodgers without a run scoring. Wynn a threat to do some running. He has stolen 18 bases this year, has a sizable lead on Royce. The look over and the pitch. Now he goes to first base. He's back in time. Dodgers have good speed in Lopes, Buckner, Wynn, and also Bill Russell. The look at first. The pitch to the plate. Fastball away. Ball 1. Royce, I don't think more than 1 or 2 hitters has been on front of anybody. The leadoff batter Lopes, the first pitch of the game, a strike. But following that, just about everything else, he has been behind. Kirkpatrick holding against Wynn at first. The look over there. And the runner's going. No, he fakes and a swing and a miss. Through to first. He's back in time. Garvey, I don't know whether he wanted to swing on that or not. It was almost a check swing. Foul tip held by Sanguin. A throw to first. Got Wynn coming back in. He got back in time, 1 ball and 1 strike. Wynn gave it a fake when he delivered the ball to the plate. The look over by Royce, the long pause, and the 1-1 pitch. Grounded weakly off third. It's a foul ball. And the count of 1-2. Dodgers lead 1-0. We're in the top of the 5th. 2 down, a runner at first base. Pirates won 52 and lost 29 in this ballpark. And that's the same figure the Dodgers had in Dodger Stadium. 52 wins, 29 defeats. Well, the Bucks had better take 2 here. Tough winning on the road. It has been all season for the Bucks. A look at first. Wynn not going. The pitch out and no play by Sanguin. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Garvey taking a look at Lasorda. Jimmy Wynn also taking a peek there. The count of 2-2. The pitch. Line drive deep to left field. Going. Stargell back at the wall. Jumps. He's got it! What a whale of a play by Stargell. That ball had home runs written all over when it left the bat. Stargell somehow got back there, jumped, hit the wall, fell down, and held on to it. He is getting a standing ovation. What a play by Willie Stargell. This crowd in there, standing, giving him a standing ovation. That ball looked like it was gone from the time it left the bat. Somehow, Stargell jumped as high as he could jump back against the wall. It's about a 10-foot wall. And he came down with the ball in his glove, collapsing, and he hit at the base of the wall. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Tavares, the leadoff batter, swings and misses. Pirate Baseball was presented by your Pirate Land Chrysler Plymouth Theater This portion will be brought to you by Daily Juice Natural Juice Product, natural fruit drink concentrate, and Daly's Cocktail Time cocktail mixes. Sutton's pitch to Tavares, swing and a miss, strike 2. The Dodgers lead 1-0. We're at the midway part in this ball game. Tavares stands for time. Wants the pine tar rag from Jerry Royce, the on-deck batter. A reminder of many tickets available for tomorrow's game. General admission tickets, well over 10,000. The game will not be telecast tomorrow on either locally or in NBC. Unless it is a sellout. If it's a sellout, it'll be telecast locally on Channel 2. Tavares bounced weakly off third, foul ball, strike 2. Andy Messersmith goes against Jim Rooker. The only run in this ball game came on a bases-loaded walk. The Dodgers got it in the second inning. Leadoff batter Tavares, the 0-2 pitch by Sutton, and he pops him up foul off the third base side. I believe Yeager has a play. Near the dugout, it's on top of the dugout. He can't make it. A walk-in dugout, and Yeager went as far as he could go, out of view, actually. Count of 0-2, holding on Tavares. The outfield, right fielder Joe Ferguson is not much more than 90 feet away from the second baseman Davey Lopes, or maybe even less than that. That's how shallow he's playing. Jimmy went a bit deeper this time than he was the last time up, but he's shallow in center. The 0-2 pitch. Foul back out of play by Frankie. Continued to battle him on the 0-2 pitch. Beautiful sunny afternoon. Temperatures in the low 70s. And clear sky. The 0-2 pitch inside to the fastball. The count of 1-2. Sutton has given up only one hit. Base hit by Sagian in the fourth inning. They have had a hit batsman, a walk, and an error. And we've stranded 4 over the front 4. The windup on the 1-2 delivery by Sutton. Ground ball, the shortstop, an easy play by Russell. He's got him at first, 1 down. I'll bring up the pitcher, Jerry Royce. He had the best hit ball of the game for the Pirates. First ball hitting with runners at first and second and 2 down in the second inning. Wynn was playing very shallow. He hit the ball well to center field, and Wynn made a great grab of the ball and got a quick jump on it, going away from the diamond and caught it over his shoulder to take a sure 2 RBI double away from Royce. And Sutton down low with his first pitch to Jerry, ball 1. Sutton lifetime has won 14 and lost 12 against the Bucks. He was 1-2 this season, beating the Pirates his last time out in September on the first, 6-2. The 1-0 pitch by Sutton, and it's swung on and missed, strike 1. Wynn respecting Royce a little bit more this time up. He is playing him a bit deeper and into left center field. Sutton's 1-1 delivery. Ground ball left side through the legs of Ron Frey into left field. Royce is on. We'll wait for the ruling. That's an error charged to third baseman Ron Frey. That's his second error of the game. And it brings up Rennie Stennett. Well, the Bucks get some life. We're at the top of the lineup. Stennett struck out and bounced to third base in 2 previous plate appearances. Sutton getting him to chase a very bad curveball in the first inning. Garvey playing off the bag, reminding Sutton with Royce at first. In a 1-0 game, the Dodgers lead 5th inning. Pitch by Sutton. Low and away, ball 1. Many banners adorning the stadium walls here this afternoon. And one out in left field. We love Rennie. Kenneth made the play of the game, and the ball hit by Garvey. Foul out of play down the right field line, or by Ron Shea rather, in the third inning. Royce failed to cover first base, and somehow Kirkpatrick was way off the bag. Then it got the ball and beat Shea to the bag at first base. A ball and a strikeout, Rennie. Had 196 hits this year. Time called. Rennie stepping out. He scored 84 runs. He's only 23 years of age. And the Pirates traded Dave Cash so that he could have a spot to play. He didn't play. The 1-1 pitch. Grounded weakly to third and Shea picks it up, throws on to second. He out there to throw to first. Double play. Shea got an in-between hop, made a fine play on that one to eliminate the error. The double play goes 5-4-3. And the Pirates in the fifth inning, no runs, no hits, one error, and nobody left. Well, we completed 5 and Sutton continue to dominate things. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Through 5, the Dodgers 1 run on 3 hits. They've committed 2 errors. The Pirates no runs on only 1 hit and no errors. Jerry Royce in the 6th inning will face Ferguson, Ron Shea, and Bill Russell. The game tomorrow starting at the same time, but no telecast tomorrow by NBC. And unless there's a sellout, there will be no telecast locally. There are tickets available at G.C. Murphy's and also at the stadium at Gate A in the upper level for tomorrow's game. General admission tickets at $3. To be on hand.
After the game, dropping the run score, play-by-play of the last 2 innings.
Ferguson singled and bounced to third in 2 plate appearances. He scored the only run of the game in the 2nd inning on a bases-loaded walk to Davey Lewis. Rice has pitched a whale of a ball game here. He's asking for time as before he steps up on the mound. Gary's had a long time of it this season. Has never missed a day. Worked every 5 days. The only Pirate pitcher to do that all season long. And had 14 complete ball games. Here's a pitch to open up the inning. Ground ball foul off third and a curveball. Strike 1. Ferguson, a massively built guy, started out in the outfield, went to catching, and now back in right field again. Wears number 13. He's not superstitious. The 0-1 pitch. Line drive, center field. Oliver Quick going back on the warning track. He's got it. Scoop's got a good jump on that ball. And that's the key to good center field play, a good outfield play. Getting to the ball quickly.
Third base.
Bill Verdon was a good advocate of that. A lot of guys that don't have great speed that cover as much ground as guys that have much better speed simply because they get that quick jump, and Oliver's one of them. Say 0 for 2. Robbed of a base hit on a great play by Stennett in the 3rd inning. Both times he's gone after any. Change-up outside, ball 1. This guy built like a fireplace and has great power. Not much more than 5'8" or 5'9", but 18 home runs, 97 RBIs. The 1-0 pitch by Royce hits foul off third past Tommy Lasorda, the third base coach, and a count of 1-1. Dodgers lead 1-0. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Say is 5'10", 185 pounds. 1-1 pitch, foul, back out of play in the count of 1-2. Had some great years in the minor leagues. Led the league in RBIs the first year he played. Led it at Spokane in 1971 with 123. At Albuquerque, he had 103 RBIs. First year with the Dodgers, he had 80. Last year had 80. This year he had 97. Pops foul off the first base side, and here's a railing, and Kirkpatrick can't get it, does he? No, he dropped it. He wants a ruling of interference on the part of a fan. A fan fought him off there. He had the ball in his glove, and one of the fans knocked it right out of his glove. Not a very friendly Pittsburgh fan, I'd say. but I guess they want the souvenir. Kirkpatrick had a play in the ball right at the railing. You could see that happening in Dodger Stadium, maybe, but not here. Fan interfered with Kirkpatrick right at the railing, but he was over the railing, and the fan's got a right to get it then. But if it was on the other side of the railing, that would have been interference. A little overeager, the fan was, and I'm sure he feels a bit embarrassed. The count of 1-2. Say still up there. 1 down, 6th inning. Pitch by Jerry. And a foul. Back out of play. Had a good rip. And he gets a base hit after a play like that. You really do some second base. Shadows starting to creep along the right field line and into right center field. Just the right fielder in shadows. Everybody else in brilliant sunshine. The 1-2 pitch underway to Ronsay. Line drive, left field. Stargell back. He has time to get there. He got it. Another great running grab. That ball bounced on him right off the bat and just kind of jumped on Willie. He almost misplayed that ball and had to extend himself. Pull to catch it up in the webbing of the glove. Going away from the infield. That's the third good defensive play by the Bucks. 2 by Stargell, 1 by Rennie Stennett. 2 down, nobody on. Russell, the batter, he singled off the right side in the second inning, putting Ferguson at third, where he scored, following the walks to Sutton and Lowe. Rounds up the middle, and it's on 2 for a base hit. Russell comes up with a base hit. He's 2 for 3 against Royce, and it brings up Steve Yeager. Struck out in the second inning and lined to the third baseman Hebner in the fourth. Well, the Dodgers continue to get a base runner on in every inning. They've done it with the exception of the fourth. Only a 1-0 lead, however, for Los Angeles here in the top of the sixth. Russell a threat to run with a situation such as this. The catcher up to the pitcher to follow. They might be doing some hitting and running. He has stolen 18 bases, struck out 15 times. Look over, and the pitch. He's going. The ball is swung and bounced to third. Hebner throws him out at first base, but they were going. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Vin Scully, the Dodger broadcaster, working off to our left and informing about shutouts in this ballpark and how many times the Pirates have been shut out. Well, at home, trying to recall, I know the last 2 times we were shut out, it was in this ballpark, and both times by left-handers. Don Gullett back on the 12th of July, and the last time it occurred in this ballpark was by John Matlack on the 21st of September, 2 Saturdays ago, on a 3-hitter, and he beat Jerry Royce. Bucks have not been doing much run scoring for Royce in the last 3 or 4 starts he's had. Hebner leads off the 6th inning against Sutton, and he takes a pitch up high for a ball. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning, bounced out to second baseman Davey Lopes in the 3rd. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Sutton's windup in 1-0 pitch to Hebner. Line drive, foul, out of play down the right field line, hooking into the crowd. Pirates sending up their big left-handed stick here in this 6th inning, which means that they will again bat at least in the 9th. So 2 more runs at Sutton. The 1-1 pitch. Screwball low and outside, and the count 2 balls and a strike. Sutton has not been fast at all in this ball game. He's working on a 1-hitter. 2-1 pitch by Sutton. Inside and low. Ball 3. Third ball. And the count of 3-1. Oliver waiting on deck. Stargell will follow him. And the only hit of the game was a single by Sankian with 2 down in the 4th inning. That's for the Pirates. The Dodgers have had 4. The 3-1 pitch. And it is hit off the right side, picked up by Lopes. A great play. He's got him. A tremendous play by Davy Lopes. He looked to see if he had the ball. Well, he flagged at the ball, and he wasn't sure he had it. But he had time to make the out. He shifts strongly against Ritchie, and the shift took the bases away from him. 1 out. Oliver struck out in the first, flies to center field in the third. He's back. They play him straight away, not over shifting at all. The pitch by Sutton swings and misses on a curve down low. Strike 1. Your host, by the way, is Joy, nature's high-protein food for dogs. It's higher in protein, and it still costs less than most other brands. Sutton's pitch is away, and it is fouled off the first base side. Strike 2. To show you how dominant the pitching of Sutton has been, there's only been one ball hit to the outfield, and that was by Oliver in the third inning. Everything else in the infield to go along with 3 strikeouts. He's keeping his pitches where he wants to. The 0-2 delivery. Rounded weakly off the right side. Garvey comes up with it, shovels on to Sutton. 2 down. Again, another infield out on an easy play. There hasn't been a difficult play other than that ball hit by Lopes here in the 6th inning, defensively for the Dodgers. But the Bucks are only a run behind, and you always hope that you can get the long ball off somebody, and particularly a guy like Stargell stepping in and to tie it up. Willie wound up the season with 25 home runs, 96 RBI. They shift against him with the shortstop Russell directly behind the bag at second. Pitch by Sutton is taken by Willie. Strike 1. Willie has not had much success in postseason play, playoffs or World Series, since the opening playoff game in '70 when he hit .500 against the Rays. Changeup swings and misses. Strike 2. Way out in front. The name of the game is pitching, and the name of the pitcher right now is Don Sutton. He is dominating things on the one-hitter. The 0-2 pitch inside, and the pitch backs Willie off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Picking up the ball game, Paul Stewart. Chief engineer from KDKA, walking around with a plug in his ear here. The 1-2 pitch. He checks, swings, and bats weakly to third. Stay comes in. He doesn't get him. Base hit. Stargell didn't want to swing, but they had shifted over. And with Stay at shortstop, the ball trickled down towards third base there by about maybe 10, 15 feet. But he threw, but no play at all at first base. The Bucks get a check swing infield single. And that'll bring up Richie Zeus. But Sutton had him tied up and had him right where he wanted. We were lucky. Our second hit, this popped first and was called out on strikes in the 4th inning. Looked at a fastball right down the chute. They're shooting some 2-out lightning. This swings and misses on a curve. Strike 1. Sutton, an unbelievable pitcher in the second half of the year, was 6-8 on the 20th of July. He wound up the season 19-9. He's won 13 of his last 14 games. Curve in there, now a little bit too high. 1 ball and 1 strike. The only loss he suffered was when the Pirates beat him 5-2 here on the 16th of August. The look at first, the 1-1 pitch, just hits weakly off third. It's a foul ball. Kind of a ball and 2 strikes on Richie. The only ball hit to the outfield by Stargell, by Oliver rather, in the 3rd inning. A fly ball to center fielder Jimmy Wynn. Sanguian single to right field. Those are the only 2 balls that have gotten out of the infield. Pitching usually is a dominant thing in championship and World Series play, and it's coming to be apparent in this ball game pretty quickly. The 1-2 pitch, he struck him out. This goes down swinging for the second time. That is the fourth strikeout by Don Sutton. No runs on a hit, no errors, and one left. They've completed 6, and the Dodgers continue to lead 1-0. The 7th inning for the Los Angeles Dodgers, leading 1-0. They'll send up the pitcher, Don Sutton. He'll be followed by Davey Lopes and then Bill Buckner. They lead by the score of 1-0. Pirates were shut out quite a bit in the early months of the season. Actually, the reason for their downfall, they just weren't doing any run scoring. The pitching is pretty consistent all year. First ball hitting, and it's fouled out of play into the crowd behind the Pirate dugout on the first base side, strike one. Pirates have turned in 3 sparkling defensive plays, 2 by Stargell, 1 by Rennie Stennett. But Sutton at bat has been one of the keys. He drew a walk in the second inning to load up the bases, and then Royce walked Lopes to force in the only run of the game. Sutton looks at strike 2. Jerry's 0-2 pitch, way up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royce ran through a lot of tough ball games in the last 4 or 5 starts that he had. Foul, back out of play. He pitched a 13-inning ball game here. The Pirates scored 1 run, and that came in the first inning. He wound up a loser 2-1. Oliver hitting a home run. Next time he worked against the New York Mets, he was shut out by John Matlack. And the game that he won in New York, the last game that he won, the Pirates scored 2 runs, and he won that one 2-1. So we haven't exactly knocked anybody down scoring runs while he's been out there. Ball right there, strike 3. Sutton, top looking, shakes his head like he didn't believe the call by Colosi. That's the second time he's been struck out, and the third in the ball game. Yeager was a big strikeout, it appeared, in the second inning, but Royce let it get away from him, walking Sutton and Lopes. 6-0 for 2. The windup and the pitch by Jerry. Up high, ball 1. Big thing to keep this fella off the base pass. Lopes a late arrival with the Dodgers, about 28 years old. He was a rookie out of Providence, Rhode Island. Rounds to third. Hebner on 1 hop. Has an easy play. He's got him at first. 2 down. Another tightly well-played ball game. And a 1-0 lead for the Dodgers with 2 down in the 7th inning. Buckner up for his 4th time. Line to center field in the first. Bounce to Stennett in the second with the bases loaded. And a slight bobble, but Rennie recovered in time to get him to the final out. He flied to left field on an 0-2 pitch in the 5th inning. But a tough out. He looks at a fastball at 5, ball 1. He was second to Steve Garvey in base hits. Garvey at 200, Buckner 182. The 1-0 pitch by Jerry. Fly ball right field, pretty well hit. This going back. He's not going to get it. It's off the wall. And moving into second base is Buckner with a double. This got a late break on that ball. Either he didn't see it or something, but he got a very late start on the ball. It hit at the base of the wall on the warning track in right center field, and he was playing him over there. But a double by Buckner over the head of Zisk in right center field.
Center fielder, Jim Wade.
Now again, the Dodgers put a runner into scoring position. They have had a base runner in every inning with the exception of the 4th against Royce. And Jimmy Lynn, a tough out now. The walk in the 1st and 5th inning, bounced out to shortstop in the 3rd. He's been their big RBI man, he and Garvey. And he flies off the left side, a high towering shot that Stargell will settle under. And that'll retire a win, and the Dodgers. So this again gets out of it. has stranded 8 runners over the front 7 innings. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Dodgers continue to lead 1-0. Manny Sacchi and Ed Kirkpatrick and Frank Tavares in the 7th inning to go against Don Sutton. The Dodgers out in front 1-0 into the final 3 innings for the Pirates. The game's still up for grabs in a well-played contest. Neo for station identification. We'll grab it when we get the chance here. The pitch by Sutton to open up the 7th is hit weakly up the middle and picked off by Bill Russell and Sacchi is out short to first and will pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Pirates Baseball Network.
All the good sports are on Pirates TV, Pittsburgh.
First baseman is Kirkpatrick.
Ed Kirkpatrick walked in the 2nd and popped up to second base in the 4th inning. He almost had the pitch that he wanted to hit out, and I think he was a bit disappointed on that pop-up in the 4th inning. He's a long ball threat if Sutton should make a mistake. Pitcher in there, taken by Eddie. Strike 1. Pelosi, the home plate umpire, throwing up the right hand. Sutton has thrown 23 home run balls. The leader on the staff, Andy Messerschmidt. They pitched a lot of innings, too. The 0-1 pitch. Looped off the right side and giving chase to Garvey. He can't get it. Foul ball right off the thumbs and over the head of Garvey down the right field line as he tried to go back to get it. I think Kirkpatrick broke his bat. Pirates loosen Dave Justy. And possibly will pinch hit for Frank Tavares because I believe Mendoza also is showing in the Pirates bullpen. Sutton this year has worked in 40 ball games as a starting pitcher. Has had 10 complete games, 276 innings. He threw 23 home run balls. He walked only 80 and struck out 179. Some very strong statistics and an earned run average of 3.23. But he has finished up mighty strong. He's won 13 of his last 14 games. The only team to beat him was the Pirates. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball, left field, and Buckner started in, but drifts back. He's got it 2 down. Kirkpatrick gave him a good battle, but line to the left fielder. Buckner 2 down, nobody on. Tavares will not bat. Popovich is going to pinch hit. Paul Popovich will pinch hit for Frank Tavares. Former Dodger. Popo is a pinch hitter. He's 237. He had a big triple here the other night in the ball game we came back to win, 6-5. Royce's ball game against his other former teammates, the Chicago Cubs. Tiny Tim was a rage a couple of years ago. Paul Popovich was his favorite ball player. Oh, Mr. Popovich. Whatever happened to Tiny Tim? He's still in? Here's the pitch to Popo. Foul. Back out of play, I believe. It is on the nutting. Strike 1. Overall, Popovich hit at 217. No home runs. Drove in 5. Pirates traded Tom DeTore for Paul Popovich. Sutton's 0-1 pitch. He started to go, but checked off in the dirt. They wanted a field play, and McSherry says no, he didn't go around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers lead 1-0. We have not had a runner get to third base so far. The only time we got a runner to second was on a walk and an error in the 2nd inning. That's how dominant Sutton has been. Only 2 hits, and one of those, a check swing infield single by Stargell. The 1-1 pitch. Line drive, left center field base hit. And that's the best hit ball of the game. Popovich going to the opposite field on what looked like a screwball. And the Bucks get a runner on with one out, and that's going to be all for Jerry Royce. Dave Justy will come on to pitch, and coming into pinch hit will be Dave Parker. Danny Murtra trying to pull some rabbits out of the hat here with 2 outs, nobody on, gets Popovich with a pinch hit single. And he goes to the big guy, Dave Parker. They've been too successful as a pinch hitter, but one of them was a very big blow, a grand slam home run against the Montreal Expos. He's had 4 hits in 21 at-bats. He's driven in 7 runs, pinch hitting, batting at 190. Left-handed batter. And a pitch in on him, ball 1. The Dodgers have a left-hander throwing in their bullpen. First time they've had any activity. Sutton checking Popovich at first. And a swing and a miss by Parker, strike 1. Fastball right in on him. Looks like Jim Brewer, I believe, throwing. The look at first, the 1-1 pitch. And it's blown away. A screwball. 2 balls and a strike. Parker, good eye that time. Didn't chase the ball. The other night, Parker hit a ball that looked like it should have been the game-tying hit off Rick Russell in the 9th inning. It had deflected off his glove and right to the second baseman. He only got 1 run out of it, and it looked like we were down the chute. But the pass ball gave us the tie, and we won it. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball weakly up the middle and picked up by Lopes. He gets Popovich at second base, and that'll retire the fight. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. And we'll go to the 8th inning. The Dodgers continue to lead 1-0. Some changes for the Pirates. Paul Popovich stays in the ballgame. He'll play at shortstop, replacing Frank Tavares, and of course will bat in the number 8 spot. The new pitcher is Dave Justy. He won 7 and lost 5 this year and led the club with 12 saves, and he was one of the key reasons for the Pirates' success in the second half of the year. He had a very poor start. Jerry Royce pitched another strong ball game, but again looking at inactivity on the part of Pirate bats in a start for him. 7 innings, he gave up 5 hits, struck out 3, walked 4, and one of those the deciding part in the ball game so far. It forced him the only run of the game with the bases loaded. He walked Sutton to load him up in the second, and then Davey Lopes walked to force in the only run of the game. Justy comes on to pitch here in the 8th inning. Garvey, Ferguson, and Say. Charlie Huff and Jim Brewer throwing in the Dodger bullpen. Pirates have 2 more shots at Don Sutton, but he shows no sign of weakening, certainly, the way he's been pitching. We've had only 3 hits off him. 2 solid ones by Sankian and Popovich, and a check swing single by Stargell in the 6th inning. And of course, we were down something like 4-2 at one time in the 9th inning. The other night, some funny things have happened this season. Not only for the Pirates, but to them too. An 8-0 lead in San Diego into the 8th inning, and we wound up losing that one 9-8 as the Padres batted around twice in the final 2 innings. Garvey doubled in the 3rd, robbed of a sure base hit, a double in the 5th inning. Stargell made a great grab of his ball against the wall, jumping to get it and coming down in a heap right at the base of the wall. Garvey takes a strike from Justy. Dave came over here in 1970, and the success of the Pirates parallels the success of Dave Justy. Or the other way around, I guess. The 0-1 pitch. Hard hit up the middle, past Popovich on into center field. Base hit by Garvey. That'll bring up Joe Ferguson. See what the Dodgers do. See if they bunt here to try and get a run. Garvey's second hit. He's 2 for 4. The 6th for Los Angeles. That ball by Garvey was in on the fist and not hit that sharply, but just up the middle, past top of it. Ferguson singled and scored in the second, bounced to third, and flied to center. He's bunting us off the first base side. They have a play where? At first base only, and the sacrifice moves them on into second base. So Ferguson gets the job done, and Justy now will have to work with a runner in scoring position facing Ron Say. One run in this game looks very big, and 2 would look almost insurmountable here, the way things are going. And Austin playing for that one big run here now in the 8th inning. Say has been a tough out here the last 2 times up. They're not going to pitch to him. They will intentionally walk him to set up the double play possibility with Bill Russell coming up. Murtaugh getting the double play possibility with Say to draw the intentional walk. That'll be the 5th walk of the game. First by Justy, an intentional pass. Russell on deck, taking a peek back into the Dodger dugout. And this will be ball 4. Now Say draws the walk. And while we've got the chance here, let's pause 20 seconds for our local station.
All the good sports are
The new Point State Park Fountain has regular operating hours, mornings from 8 to 9:30 and 11 to 1, plus afternoons from 4 to 7. On the weekend, the fountain is on from 11 in the morning until 7 at night. KDKA invites you to visit this new addition to someplace special, a landmark that helps get our point across to the world.
Bill Russell stepping in. He's had 2 hits in 3 at-bats, and the Bucks need a double play ball. The pitch to him is low and away, ball 1. Yeager, the on-deck hitter, only 1 out here in the Dodgers' 8th inning. A single, a sacrifice, and an intentional walk has runners at first and second. Garvey at second, Say at first. 1-0 lead for Los Angeles. The 1-0 pitch, low and away, ball 2. Just missing. Justy thought he had a strike that time. Colosi didn't give it to him. Sanguian holding it, said something to Colosi. Justy's behind the count of 2 balls and no strikes. We're loosening Larry Demery and Ramon Hernandez. The pitch underway. Fly ball, center field. Oliver started in, drifts back. He's got it. Tagging at second is Garvey, but he'll hold there. 2 down. Well hit ball by Bill Russell. But Justy fortunate directly to the center fielder, Al Oliver. 2 down, and Yeager will be the batter. Dodgers have sprayed some line drives in this ball game. Lopes and Buckner in the first inning for outs. A great grab by Stargell in the 5th inning off the bat of Garvey. Another line drive out by Say in the 6th inning. A line drive out off the bat of Yeager in the 4th. And another hard out here in the 8th inning off the bat of Russell. We've been rather fortunate, and we trail by only a 1-0 score. Steve Yeager, the batter. He's 0 for 3. Time call to Sanguian and Justy. Can't get together on the sign. Sanguian asking for time. The pitch by Dave. Low and outside, ball 1. Pirate fans haven't had too much to cheer about here this afternoon. But we've got 2 more wraps at Don Sutton. The 1-0 pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeager finished the season hitting at .266. He drove in 41 runs. Justy gets a side from Sanguian from the belt, checks Garvey. The pitch underway. Swing and a foul just in front of the plate. Or off the first base side, strike 1. 2 balls and a strike. This game about 2 hours old right now, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. 1-0 games during the regular season, usually over in about an hour and 45 minutes. But a little more tension, a little more thought about everything in this game. There are only 5 left. You got to win 3 of them. Pitch up high, ball 3. Sutton's the on-deck batter, and Justy is pitching very carefully to Yeager here. And he may wind up pitching to Don Sutton with the bases loaded. The count of 3-1, and the pitch. Fly ball, center field, tough play. Oliver going. He's got it on the warning track. I thought that was a sure base hit. In the gap in right center field, and Oliver got a big jump on it. And another fine defensive play saves the Pirates. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Dodgers lead 1-0.
You want a great refrigerator? I'll tell you about a great refrigerator coming your way from Westinghouse. It's a big 21 cubic foot job that never ever needs defrosting. It's got 3 doors and 4 zones of cold, cause Westinghouse knows you should keep different foods at different temperatures. And if you like, it's even got an optional automatic ice maker. How's that for smart shopper value? And every Westinghouse refrigerator is backed by dependable nationwide sure service, no matter where you live or move in the U.S. Westinghouse, smart shopper value. You can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
The 8th inning for the Pirates at the top of the lineup. It'll be Stennett, Hebner, and Oliver to go against Don Sutton. Well, the Bucks have the meat of the order coming up in the 8th and 9th inning, trailing by a run. But 1 run has looked as big as Mount Everest here this afternoon for the Pirates, the way Sutton's been pitching. A hit in the 4th inning by Sagui in the 1st of the game. A check swing single in the 6th with 2 out by Scargill the 2nd. And Popovich pinch hit with 2 out in the 7th for the 3rd. And that's been it. We haven't had a runner to 3rd base so far. Stennett fouled into the crowd off the first base side. Strike 1. We got a guy named Eddie Solomon throwing. But Rich, I got to tell you, Eddie Solomon ain't coming in if this game is up for grabs. He's just throwing. Sutton's 0-1 delivery to Rennie Stennett. He started to go, but checked off. And the field player, the umpire, Paul Pryor, says, no, he didn't go around. 1 ball, 1 strike. The game up for grabs in a 1-0 game into the 8th inning. A whale of a contest, a 1-1 pitch. Way outside, ball 2. Willie Crawford heading down to the Dodger bullpen. Could possibly come in to replace Joe Ferguson in right field. Sutton's windup in 2-1 pitch to Rennie Stennett. Line drive left field, the right to Buckner. He's got it. Nice running grab and a well-hit ball by Stennett. Yeah, the Dodgers have had about 6 of those well hit for outs, and we get 1. 1 down. Hebner, the batter, robbed of a hit in the 6th inning, and a good defensive play by Davey Lopes. He got on in the 1st inning, hit by a pitch. But Lopes is taken care of in the 3rd and 6th inning. They'll shift strong against him. Lopes deep at second base in the outfield portion and over into the crowd, over into the hole. Yeah, less than over Flout wrong here this afternoon. 40,158. No telecast tomorrow. Tickets are still available for tomorrow's game. $3 ticket. Hebner takes a curve. Strike 1. Been a funny year in Pittsburgh for fan attraction. with a ball club that has won their 4th Eastern Division title. Curve fouled by Hebner off the first base side, strike 2. Not quite like Oakland, but somewhat. Sutton gets the sign from Steve Yeager, and the 0-2 pitch to Hebner. Up high, fastball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The long pause, the windup, and the 1-2 pitch to Hebner. Inside backs him off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hebner right on top of the plate with that open stance. They try to pitch him tight. Sutton backed him right off there. Let's see what he comes back with this time on a 2-2 pitch. There you go, that screwball, an off-speed curveball. Or maybe the fastball again, Teddy. Here he comes. It's a screwball away and a full count of 3-2. Now Oliver on deck. Well, what we need is a base hit or a walk and a home run. Wrap it up in the 9th. That'd be a clean finish, wouldn't it? It's happened before. Those Angels may still be hanging around here. I don't think they left. Sutton shakes off the sign. The 3-2 pitch to Hebner. And it is swung on him. That's strike 3. Sutton not taking any chances at all. No base hit, no walk, but a big strikeout. That is his fifth. He has just been as dominant in this ball game as any pitcher we've seen this year. John Matlack had a 2 or 3 hitter against us 2 Saturdays ago. And just about as strong a ball game. Sutton, a right-handed pitcher, is taking care of our left-handed hitter. Oliver pops up, and that'll do in the Pirates. On the first pitch, he pops weakly to shortstop, and Sutton, through 8 innings, has not allowed the Pirates to get a runner to third base. Now we've completed 8, and the Dodgers lead 1-0.
Here's a tip from the old gunner on how you can get the most for your food dollar. Be one of the many families who have switched to Super Dollar Markets. Super Dollar Markets have joined the fight against inflation. You'll find high-quality meats, the very freshest of produce, and a wide selection of well-known national and local brands. All at prices that make your dollar have more sense. There's always a great plus for Super Dollar customers that's sometimes hard to find in most other large food markets. It's that wonderful, friendly feeling of welcome that puts you at ease the moment you walk through the door. Super Dollar folks are people who like people, and you can take it from the old gunner. They'll do everything they can to help you make that hard-earned dollar go a little further. Super Dollar Markets are staffed with friendly people who know they can serve you better and save you more. So see for yourself. There's a lot of savings waiting for you at all Super Dollar Markets. The inflation fighters, where your dollar has more sense and who serve you better and save you more. Start your food shopping at Super Dollar Markets this week and feel the difference.
Don Sutton will lead off the 9th inning for the Dodgers, and when he steps in, he should get a round of applause here. He's pitched a whale of a ball game, a pressure ball game, the opening game of the championship series in a Dodger ball club that won 102 ball games and lost only 60. The Pirates had beaten them 6 consecutive games in this ballpark, but they lead 1-0. And this is the first postseason experience for Sutton or anybody in this Dodger ball club. Sutton walked in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th, struck out in the 7th. Justy got out of trouble in the 8th inning, and a good running grab by Oliver off the bat of Yeager. Curveball away by Dave, ball 1. Justy's 1-0 delivery. Fouled out of play, first base side, and the count of 1-1. Sutton shaking his head, didn't know how that one got away. See some people idly walking to the exit, but very few The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, 2 balls and a strike. What's happened this year, and particularly in the month of September, you're kind of crazy to walk out in any ball game before the last out is done, and maybe even after the last out. What you think is ground ball up the middle, and it's another base hit. Justy sets up for a base hit up the middle, and the Dodgers again will have an opportunity to bunt and move a runner in there. Weakly hit ball, but just up the middle. The same type of hit that Garvey got to open up the 8th inning. Justy now will face the top of the lineup, Dave Lopes. Sutton on at first base, being held by Kirkpatrick, and we'll see how the Dodgers play. Pirates have Hebner up at third, looking for a bunt. Kirkpatrick holding against Sutton. Lopes drove in the only run. He walked it in the 2nd inning. Bases loaded walk off right. That's been the only run in this game. The pitch, he's bunting, and it's off the first base side. They will play at second. The out there, the throw to first. No, not a play made. And Sutton goes out at second base. Justy to Popovich. And the trick now, the steal by Davey Lopes is very apparent. He has stolen 59 bases, been caught stealing 18 times. Justy will give you a good shot at him. Lopes has stolen 3 times against the Pirates, all 3 times against Jerry Rice. You may have heard in the background a change in the attendance, not much, but 40,638. Buckner, the batter, doubled in the 7th inning over the head of Zisk. That was off right. Swings and misses, throw to first base, and he jacked off. No, he's safe. A quick throw by Sanguin, and Lopes a little bit late getting back there on that snap throw by Manning. Just off the back of the hitter, Buckner. Lopes had to dive back in to throw a little bit lower, and Kirkpatrick's got him at first base. But it's strike 1 on Bill Buckner. I think Lopes was supposed to be stealing on that one, and Buckner was just trying to protect him with that swing. He is getting himself together down there. Physically, that is. Taking all the dust and dirt out of him. Head first slide and kicked up a cloud of dust. Sanguin made a whale of a throw down there. Count of 0-1. The pitch, the runner's not going. The fastball away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lopes, the heir apparent to Lou Brock's title, is the best base stealer in the league. Justy still searching for the sign from Sanguin. Gets it, checks Lopes. The runner's going. The pitch is outside. A throw through to second base. He is safe. He came off the bag, but he held it with his hand. Popovich went after him the first time, but didn't go after him the second. If he stayed with him, he would have had him that time, because Lopes lost the bag sliding past it. His speed took it by him at second base, but Popovich didn't stay on the tag with him, and on the second attempt when he did go back, Lopes got his hand back on the bag. That was a steal, and he got a great jump off Justy. It was his 60th of the year, but it doesn't count in the statistics overall. Now Austin taking the percentage play there, realizing that if Lopes didn't sacrifice, the possibility of him stealing second is probably greater than a sacrifice bunt being successful. Now Justy again with a runner at second base, trying to get out of it here with only 1 out and the count of 2 balls and a strike on Bill Buckner. The outfield playing Buckner pretty much straight away. He'll put the ball in play. One of the big outs that Justy got this year against the Dodgers, a double play ball, as he hit it to shortstop. Fly ball off the right side, not deep at all, Stenner drifting back. That'll take care of Buckner. Holding at second base is Davey Lopes. 2 down, Jimmy Wynn, the batter. The Dodgers have had a lot of chances in this ball game to score a host of runs. They have scored only 1 so far, and Justy 1 out away from keeping it at that total. 2 down, Wynn. Walked in the first and 5th. Bounced to short in the 3rd. Fly to left field in the 7th inning. First time he's facing Justy. The pitch underway. Fly ball right field. They've got another run off the wall. Lopes scored, and the Dodgers lead by the score of 2-0. That'll be a book rule double. It bounced over the fence. Wynn coming around to third, but he'll go back to second base. Well, the Dodgers finally break through against Justy with an opposite field double by Wynn. He was going that way and hit it very well. No chance at all. The Dodgers lead 2-0. Now the Bucks have got to find 2 runs someplace in the ninth inning. We have Stargell, Zisk, and Sanguin to bat in the ninth inning. They will walk Steve Garvey and pitch to Joe Ferguson. They may have a pinch hitter here, too, for Ferguson. We'll wait and see. Willie Crawford may get a look. Well, the opening single by Don Sutton gets back to haunt Justy, and the walk in the second inning by Royce haunted him, too, because it loaded the bases. Well, it's been all Don Sutton here this afternoon. His pitching and his ability to get on base has cost the Bucks dearly. This will be the 6th walk. 2 intentional walks by Jerry Royce, or by Justy rather, 4 unintentional by Royce. Ferguson will stay in. He'll bat. He singled and scored the first run in the second inning. Bounced to third in the third. Flied to center in the 8th inning and sacrificed in the 8th inning. Right-handed batter. 2-0 lead. Wynn at second base. Garvey at first. 2 down. The pitch. Right on the corner. Taking strike 1. Wynn with a big lead at second base. The look back by Dave, and the pitch now. Fastball up high, and the count of 1-1. Tomorrow's game starts at 1 o'clock. Rooker to go against Andy Messersmith. Tickets available at the ballpark at G.C. Murphy downtown. General admission tickets at $3. No telecast tomorrow. The look at second, and the 1-1 pitch. Foul, back out of play, and he had a good rip at that. Ball and 2 strikes. Rusty's fastball, not as good as it has been previous ball games. Time call. Dave wants to talk things over with Sanguin. He has not gone inside on any hitter, right-handed batter so far. He's kept the ball away from everybody and Wynn very alertly. Realizing that, went to the opposite field with that double to drive in the second run. He's at second base. Garvey's at first. And the pitch. Ground ball up the middle, another base hit. Wynn scores. 3-0. Dodgers lead. Garvey comes to third. Here's a throw. He may be out. No, he's safe. Moving into second. Ferguson, he's safe. And the Dodgers breaking it wide open here. And runners at second and third. They've scored 2 runs, 3-0. The Dodgers lead. And that'll bring up Ron Say. That ball by Ferguson wasn't well hit at all either. Hit him on the fist right up the middle. Just squeaked through. But good enough for the base hit that drives in the run. We got to get him to hit the ball hard. We'll get him out. Line drive outs. We've been fortunate with that. But the single by Sutton and the single by Ferguson have not been well hit. They'll walk Ron Say, another intentional walk. The 7th walk of the game, and they'll pitch to Bill Russell, who was a tough out in the 8th inning. Line to center fielder Oliver for the second out. Ball 3. Murtaugh with his 3rd intentional walk in the last 2 innings here. And that'll bring up Bill Russell. Bases loaded. 2 down. And the Dodgers have scored 2 runs after 2 are out. A double by Wynn, an intentional walk to Garvey, a single to Ferguson, an intentional walk to Say. They're loaded up. 2 down. 3 hits in the inning to go with 2 walks. And Justy is trying to get out of it now and to end this very long inning. The windup in the pitch by Dave. Just outside, a breaking ball, ball 1. Russell started to offer, but checked off. The 1-0 pitch. Fly ball, center field, well hit. Oliver is going to get this one, a line shot. That's the second hard out. Dusty just not too fortunate here this afternoon, giving up a couple of runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 3 left. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Dodgers lead 3-0.
Just imagine yourself in this situation. It's about 90 degrees out, and you're on your way back to work from lunch, and you want to run a quick errand, which takes all of 10 minutes. But when you go back to your car, it won't start. And you thought cars only had trouble starting in cold weather. Well, hot weather is sometimes even harder on your battery than cold weather is. That's usually because blistering heat can help cause high internal engine friction, which can make it hard to start your car. So you need a battery that will perform no matter what the weather, hot or cold. And that's the Delco Energizer. It gives an instantaneous burst of power for hot weather starts or cold weather starts. Now you know more about the Delco Energizer. And that's about all anybody has to know about batteries.
For shots that are good and hand like it should, Delco's the name to know. Well, the more you know, the more you want Delco. Well, the more you know, the more you want Delco. Well, the more you know.
Well, good pitching stops good hitting, and we're looking at it this afternoon as John Sutton has completely throttled a very strong Pioneer offensive lineup with only 3 hits, one of them by this fella, Willie Stargell, and that was a check swing single in the 6th inning. He leads now 3-0. A lot of breathing room for him. Line shot, base hit into right center field. Well, the Bucks get the leadoff batter on. Stargell hitting the ball well. They'll bring up Richie Zick. Well, you like to get that leadoff batter on, and Mike Marshall takes off his jacket, and he'll start the throw. Something a couple of years ago, a matter of fact, I guess it was last year, had an apparent win in Cincinnati in a big game with the Reds, into the 9th inning, and suddenly lost it. And the Reds from that time on went on to just play amazing baseball. They were something like 11 games back, caught the Dodgers and won. And that doesn't happen that often. Pirates are seeing it. They can get some lightning to strike twice. Veska struck out 2 times, takes the fastball out at the knees, strike 1. He thought that pitch was inside. Garvey playing just off the bag behind Stargell. That run means nothing. 3-0 lead for the Dodgers. And the pitch. Swinging and a miss, strike 2. Third ball, and just way out in front, pulled his head out on him. Strike 2. This is Richie's first appearance in postseason play. The 0-2 pitch, he struck him out. Third time he's nailed this. Big shot breaking ball. That'll bring up Sanguin. 1-3. His single was the first hit of the ball game for the Bucks in the 4th inning. You watch batting practice and you see ball clubs hit. You got to almost shaking your boots watching some teams hit, and the Pirates in particular in batting practice. But once the game starts, it's a different thing. Pirates had an impressive batting practice drill here. Home runs and everything. But curveballs or screw balls and everything else, the tension of things changing a bit as the game gets underway. And you've seen it happen so many times. Pitch away on Sanguin, ball 1. Royce pitched well. Dave Justy touched up for 2 runs in the 9th inning, and the Dodgers have just dominated it on the pitching of Don Sutton. Yeager pointing to first baseman Garvey to take a look at the dugout. They want him to back off the bag a bit farther. Stargell leading from first. The 1-0 pitch. Foul. Back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rooker and Messersmith tomorrow at 1:05. Messersmith can't be any tougher than Sutton's been today. At least you hope not. The 1-1 pitch. Inside, back Sankey off the plate. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. And Sutton will give himself some pitching room, and he did that time. That was to get Sanguian off the plate. And it sure did. The 2-1 pitch to Manny. Fly ball right field. And drifting over. Ferguson on the warning track. Runs it down. Stargell comes back to first. And we're 1 out away from looking at a shutout here against Don Sutton. Ed Kirkpatrick will be the batter.
Ed Kirkpatrick.
Now, 2 weeks ago, John Matlack shut us out on a 3-hitter. Sutton has 1 out to go to pick up a shutout on a 4-hitter. The first game in a 5-game series is big. The feeling is, particularly if you have to wind up on the road. The Dodgers would like to get out of here with a split. But when they win that first one, of course, they're thinking 2 in a row. Kirkpatrick looks at the ball of 5. It'd take one of those 9th inning heroics like we had the other night against the Cubs to get this one back. And a tough pitcher like Don Sutton. He smells the 1-0 pitch. He is in there taking the ball and a strike. The count of 1-1. The pitch to Kirkpatrick, swinging and a miss, strike 2. He's down to 1 pitch. He blew a fastball right past Kirkpatrick. It's a great pitching performance by Don Sutton. It's the best way you can describe it. Stead, Hebner, Oliver, Zist have not had a base hit. And those are some pretty good bats. Stargell had the only solid base hit here. Of those group, he had a check swing single in the 6th. The 1-2 pitch, and it's a fly ball to left field. The Dodgers will win this one. And Sutton does a great job shutting out the Pirates on 4 hits. The Dodgers win it 3-0.
Westinghouse has a heavy-duty washer you're going to cheer about. It can tackle 18 pounds of the toughest family wash or gently launder your most delicate things with its optional hand wash agitator. This big Westinghouse has 5 water temperature selections and 3 agitator and spin speeds. There's even a water saver switch and a knit fabric setting. Everything you need for every laundry problem. And every Westinghouse is backed by Westinghouse Nationwide Sure Service. Westinghouse, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
Well, the Pirates dropped the first game of the championship playoff series by the score of 3-0, and they say good pitching beats good hitting. Excellent pitching just dominates it, and that's exactly what happened here this afternoon. Don Sutton, who had won 13 of his last 14 games during the season, and 9 in a row, had an easy time of it this afternoon. The Pirates never got a runner to third base. The only time we got a runner to second base was with a 2-out walk to Kirkpatrick in the 2nd inning, and Tavares got on an error by third baseman Ronside on a play at first base that actually might have been called the other way, too. But Sutton didn't have to break a sweat here this afternoon, as the Pirate bats were kept very well in check, about as much as we've seen all season long. The line scored 3 runs, 9 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. Pirates, no runs on only 4 hits and no errors. Sutton, the winning pitcher. Jerry Royce, the loser. Royce went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 walks, and one of those walks forced in the Dodgers' first run. And the Dodgers chased 2 more in against Justy in the 9th inning. Sutton got that going with a single to open up the 9th inning. The big RBIs, Jimmy Wynn and Ferguson in the ninth inning. Now we've got 4 more games to go. We've got to win 3 of 4 now instead of 3 of 5. It's a tough job in a short series, and tomorrow Jim Rooker goes against another tough Dodger pitcher, Andy Messerschmidt. For Shader McCracken, our engineer, and for Radio Rich, and for Bill Richards back at the studio, and for Bob Prince, Nellie King saying so long. From Three Rivers, this game was brought to you in part by Joy, nature's high-protein food for dogs. Higher in protein, and it still costs less than most other brands. By Daily Juice Natural Juice Products, natural fruit drink concentrate, and Daly's Cocktail Time cocktail mixes. And by your Power Plant Chrysler.